Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
I'm sure Brian still listens too.
I bet he does.
Is it STEEL?
And now, you know what? Brian's like, man, Holly's getting a little older and everything. And, Bubba, you're still,
You're so funny.
your girlfriend's 45, hot with big jugs. Holly's like, what, 51, 3 kids?
Yeah.
Just saying, maybe I'm still pimping, dog.
No doubt.
That's going to make her feel good about herself. Like she wants to come in and talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Broadcast rights for the Bubba the Love Sponge show have been granted to this station by the Bubba Radio Network and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this production without the express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
Oh. It's time for the show to start. Well, it's Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, the Bubba the Love Sponge show. How is everybody? Got Dan in here on his standard Monday, Tuesday. Lummy, of course.
Totally dressed up too.
Oh, look at that. What's that mean, Dan? We know what that means for Jay, but we don't know what that means for you.
Well, for Jay usually means something, really important, a mediation, deposition.
I know. I'm
hearing.
telling you.
For me, it's TikTok videos. So
Hold on.
Hell yeah.
Hold on. So you're saying that your jacket, usually you have like a $400 or $500, zillion finest Italian silk thread, shirt with a pair of like $300-$400 slacks, all custom made. Hugo Boss sometimes, pair of $600, $700, some type of designer loafer, a $40,000 Daytona Rolex, and some Guido gold around the neck is usually how you roll. Very rarely do you come even better than that, where you put like a sport coat or a suit coat or a jacket on. So is that a suit coat or is that just a cold weather jacket? I can't.
No, it's a full-on suit.
It's really?
Full-on suit, yeah.
So now, again, for your brother, that would denote, because Jay comes in here pretty cash and very cash, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Jay comes in just like sometimes he's getting ready to go to the gym. I love it. I love it. He didn't have to he didn't have to be dressed up every day like you do, because you're either meeting patients, seeing. I guess on your surgery days, when you go from here to the surgery center, you could be wearing just whatever, but
I wear jeans usually on those days.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Jay being in a suit means he's got to be in front of a judge, or he's got a real important mediation, or he's got some type of ruling,
Something official.
Yeah, something official. And even when he's on Zoom, he'll still suit it up. Because, a lot of lawyers I've seen taking some flack where they are, doing a Zoom kind of deal, and they aren't dressed, court appropriate, so to speak.
Right.
And Jay, you're not going to catch Jay sleeping on that. Jay always goes overboard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when he's dressed up, there's something pretty big in the woodpile. And so you're saying you're dressed up just because you need to do TikTok videos?
Yes, sir.
For
the
me,
law firm.
For the law. Oh, today is. So let me see if I can.
Today's
if I can peel
hybrid.
that. If I can peel this on your back. You guys are doing kind of like a media shoot for commercials and things at the law firm, and that requires you to be just suited and zooted.
Well, we have
videos,
we have a new social media marketing person that's directing us to do all these little videos. So I'm trying to.
I've seen them on Instagram. They look good.
Yeah, they're cute.
That actually is so
like
you
little
guys,
nuggets of information.
Oh,
Grouper Lips, $100. Cash out.
Thank you, Grouper Lips. Appreciate you. Lummy, I got some kind of thing on Venmo where
money.
Yeah, well, we have a little bit of money in there, and I was trying to transfer it. So we had like $300 or $400 in there.
Yeah.
The business, and I was this week is payroll. So I was trying to, get ready for payroll. I got to move some stuff around. And I go to, like I have, I don't know, 200-300 times prior when I take the money out of the Venmo account and hit transfer so that goes to your bank account, right?
Yes.
Done it. I mean, done it a zillion times.
The button won't push down.
All of a sudden now, when I hit it to transfer my $318.54, it says, it gives me this big lock, like it's a locked screen, and it says, your account is currently locked. We are determining whether your business is suitable for Venmo. You're still able to get, you receive money, but we're reviewing your account. We'll get back to you in 24 hours. Now, that was 2 days ago.
Oh, my gosh.
So, 24 hours is past, and you got my account locked because you said, I need to actually, I think I screenshotted it, and I wanted to read it to you because it's it's pretty. Like, I've been with Venmo for, God, how long have we been with Venmo, bud?
Oh, 4 years?
I mean,
5
yeah.
You think you're kicking it out wide for donations?
Keith Mauser, 25 on the Cash App.
I don't know. I really don't
Maybe
know.
it was that, remember how every time at 199 it sometimes locks it up, and this last 199 was record setting?
Yeah.
So maybe they got freaked out, which I don't know why, but
So it said that didn't work. We're reviewing your business profile to make sure we can support the type of business you're conducting. This quick review will help us confirm that we're providing the best payment experience possible. While we are conducting our review, you'll be able to receive payments. However, you won't be able to send, transfer, or withdraw money. Well, that seems pretty unfair, doesn't it?
Sure does.
$50.
Can look at it, but you can't have it.
PayPal and Cash App; those are right now the only ways. We're down. Our Venmo has been crippled.
So, Bubba, multiply that.
Scout and Big Gulp 50 on the PayPal. Love you guys.
Thank you.
All at the Bubba Army. What's that now, Dan?
So, Bubba, multiply that by thousands that get hung up for a couple days, and that PayPal or Venmo gets to hold that money in their little account for an extra 24 to 72 hours.
Right. Think
about all the interest that they're making by trolling people like that and saying they're like, oh, no, this may not be up in the up. And they take 2, 3, 4 days to finally unlock it.
Right. And
the
if
whole
they did it
time,
to a
they've
million
got your
people,
money.
if they did it to a million people,
Right.
they had, $200-300
Right.
in their account.
$300 million. We think that interest is every single day that they're doing that too. I bet you there's 1 million people a day that are locked out.
Right. And you're right. And, they're probably getting they're probably conservatively getting 3 or 4 points on their money, right?
Yeah,
or maybe
they're
even
making an extra $20 to $50 million a year doing this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But hold on, but there's more. Hold on. So it says,
Wait, there's more.
however, you won't be able to send, transfer, or withdraw money. We'll either resolve our review or contact you within 24 hours. Thank you for your patience. And then down below it has a bit try again. So I keep smashing the try again, Lummy, and it keeps giving me this message. And now I'm thinking, well, if I keep smashing the try again, then it's going to throw you into you were smashing the try again button too many times, and we're going to lock you out of here. Oh, man.
What if you go backwards?
And here's the deal. Online banking, man, it is the worst. Double verification, it's just the stuff they make you jump through, and for the stupid stuff, it's just ridiculous. And then you have to go in and sometimes reinstall your app and change your password and call this 1-800 service. I don't know, man. It's ridiculous.
Have you started from scratch?
What do you mean?
Go all the way back to the beginning and then try to do it? Because sometimes if you get into one of those we're locked out vortexes, then you can't get out of it until you completely back out of it and refresh the app, start over, then
Here's
try to
the
get
deal.
it.
I'm not doing nothing for a day, a day or two. Because I tried again this morning to get in, and that might be within their 24-hour window, and maybe that then if you hit try again, it means that
Restarts the clock.
An extra bad guy, and you're trying so hard to get into this account. When realistically, man, think about how dependent as Americans we've become on online banking.
I know. I hate to do it. I hate it. I let Jennifer do it. I don't mess with it. It just drives me insane.
I know, but you still have to have, you deal with Uber Eats and
Well, I mean, I could do an app. You know, I can hit a couple buttons.
Yeah, I know,
you
but
push
that's
really
still,
hard, it works better.
That it still involves you in putting your banking information, having a credit card on file, and like when somebody all of a sudden there's a fraud attempt on that credit card, and all the platforms that you had that credit card stored on, now have to be they have to send you a new card and all that. It is just absolutely horrible how much we rely on online banking.
Well, it looks like I'm reading about it. The new IRS guidelines for Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, they may be reviewing our account to see if they need to change it.
If they need to change it to what?
Like if it's under a personal one or a business one, and how they're going to
are you saying
put
it's
you on
linked
tax
to
code.
Bubba's issues?
Let's go.
No. Venmo's doing it. This is like this is countrywide.
So this is not up and beyond the already IRS struggles I am having.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with just you.
This is a across the board shakedown.
Yes,
not a personal.
Yeah,
And again, Dan, just another shakedown. So the IRS now rolls up into Venmo, and they're like, we want to go through all of your accounts and make sure that they're reporting the right stuff to the right deal. Well, you know what? My account is a business account, and it goes right into my business. Hold on. And it's money that we collect through my business, and it goes right into my business account. So, and I think I have a Venmo business account.
Perfect.
So,
F off.
I'm
right.
not cry. I think sometimes in accounting they call it cross pollination of if you would do something that would be considered a business expense and a personal expense, and you'd write it off as a business expense. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of that. So they're just making sure that this probably isn't a personal account that's getting put into a business account, or a vice versa.
Yeah, it says if you have over more than 200 transactions that they usually review it, which we normally do.
Yeah, I mean, we have 200 transactions a week.
Yeah.
Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Venmo, we're a little bit of an amputee right now, but I think we'll
still got 3 limbs left.
You can still send it to us. We just can't quite put it in the bank yet. We got to hold that money.
We can look at it, we just can't drive it.
I mean, we're like little strippers, like your girlfriend may say, hey, hold this money for me and don't put it in the bank, So we're Venmo's treating us like some strippers. We just gave our money to the pimp. The pimp is Venmo.
Is that security that came and broomed off the dollar bills into the bucket, and we can't get the bucket yet?
Right.
Yeah.
Until the pimp gets it.
That's right.
Right. Takes his little handful out.
Pimp's got to get his vig.
Right.
And then they'll let the strippers start getting. And then I got to tip out the DJ, and I got to tip out the bartenders.
Bubba, you said something interesting a little bit ago. You said something about I don't know if they think I'm a good guy or a bad guy. I've seen in 2 different movies in the last week, someone that's kind of beat up and gets helped from someone else. The person asks them, "Are you a good guy or bad? Are you a good man or a bad man?" And what's the right answer?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
You just said I don't know if Venmo thinks I'm a good guy or a bad guy. And I just said in the last week I saw 2 different movies where that question was asked to the lead character. And do you know what the right answer is?
What's the right answer?
Well, what would you say?
What, am I a good guy or a bad guy?
Yeah. So if you just say you got mugged, okay, and you have nothing on you, you're bloodied up, and then someone just takes you in and tries to help you, and they ask you, because you're not normal people get beat up, and they ask you, are you a good person or a bad person? What's your answer?
I would say I'm a polarizing person. I would say me as a person, I'm a good guy, but I'm perceived sometimes socially as a bad guy. And then that would be way, way, way not the answer that the people that were going to take me in wanted to hear, because I'm freaking with them now, too. They don't know what the hell they got here. Get the hell out of here, buddy. When really I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy, but some people think I'm a bad guy.
So your answer is sort of I don't know.
Well, no, you want how I perceive myself personally, or how the public perceives me?
How you perceive yourself
personally.
Just, I'm your entity.
Well, see, we're
getting
really
philosophical.
Yeah, you're getting.
I know it's an interesting thing, because you asked the question yourself earlier. That's the reason I brought it up.
But here's the deal: if you ask a person that's just walking down the road, and let's say he's a mailman or a farmer or whatever, and he's not a public figure, and makes his living through the public's perception of him or the type of program that he produces. That's how he makes a living. So he's in the entertainment business, so to speak. I think asking a person that's in the entertainment business that has to be somewhat of a character and is not really themselves, but a lot of themselves, then that question's different for just Farmer Joe. Farmer Joe knows he's a good guy or a bad guy. Farmer Joe knows whether he's taking care of his family and he's doing the right thing. Farmer Joe also knows if he's, maybe dabbled in child porn and is a real sicko and one time, robbed a bank when he was a kid and never got caught and does some shady stuff. Well, then deep down, he's a bad guy. But if he's just Farmer Joe and he's got the crops out and he gets the crops in and he has 3 kids and he's faithful to his wife and he has a good, he's able to make a good living, put a roof over their heads, everybody's taken care of, then he'd help, if he saw a woman on the side of the road, he would help her, not try to rape her, then he's a good guy. Me, on the other hand, I really am a good guy. Like, I really am. Like, if you really knew me, to my fiber and to my core, I'm a good guy. I want to help people, and for those that I love, and I like to, I'd help a complete stranger out if I could. In fact, Lummy, a few times this radio program has given me the ability to save people's lives. I've saved people's lives by talking, live on the air, talking them off of the edge while they were possibly in the midst of attempting suicide. I've literally had people that have had a gun in their hand and have called the show and said, "You're my last call. I want to thank you. I love you. I'm Bubba Army. I know all the vernacular. I know all the Iggies and all the drama. Sometimes you're the only friend I had at my lowest peak is you, the show, the camaraderie of being Bubba Army, just the Iggies, and just knowing the whole Bubba Army, facade or world brightened my day. But I'm going to kill myself for whatever reason, And I've talked that person, using this particular forum, a forum that some people think I'm an asshole in, while others who don't know me know deep down to the core I'm a good guy.
You know what I think the answer to that question is for everyone? Is that it's neither. Or it's both, because everyone is nuanced.
Right.
Every single person is nuanced. Do you remember that show Startup, Bubba?
Yeah.
Remember that show Startup we watched a long time ago?
It's a great show.
You remember the guy who was
it was a good show.
The
awesome.
Haitian gang member who would kill people?
Right.
He was always faithful to his wife. Like, that was a line he never crossed.
He was a thug.
He was a thug, but he was always faithful to his wife. That was his morality line. And
hold on, he was always a family man. Like, when his son needed to be set straight, he set his son straight, and he always tried to direct his son into doing the right thing, even though his son wanted to be a gangbanger.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you remember that guy Nick? I think he was pretty much the lead character. I think he was played by Adam Brody, the guy with the curly black hair.
Yeah.
He wouldn't kill anybody, but he would steal money, and he would I think he cheated on his fiance. He just did a bunch of other things. And what I realized was there were no good and bad characters. Everyone is nuanced. And then I've learned that in life as well, is that there really are no good and bad guys. Even the worst guys, even the guys that are gangbangers or in prison or murderers, they've had good interactions with people. Maybe they were kind to their grandmother or an old woman or something like that. So I don't know. I think that would be my answer.
Yeah, but overall, their body of work, they're bad.
Absolutely. You could look at the rap sheet, but I'm just saying every single person is a nuanced person.
The answer on the test is I don't know. That's the best, most honest answer.
Well, no, that's not the honest answer, because I do know. You should see some of the emails. People hating me. I mean, listen, your little test, again, maybe applicable, pull that one on my ass, to some people and may not. Entertainers on may not be able to take that test, Dan, because they got, if as your job, you have to play a bad guy, in some instances,
but
playing a bad guy is also a part of you a little bit. If you're able to play a bad guy good enough, then that makes you kind of a bad guy, because you wouldn't know how to play the bad guy real good if you weren't kind of a bad guy.
I mean, no one really thinks Robert De Niro was Al Capone. I mean, we know that.
I don't know. he gets probably somewhat stereotyped as Al Capone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think likability is necessarily correlated one for one with if you are a good or bad person. You know, plenty of people who do good things are not well liked, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
you know,
Whatever, Dan. Whatever your top. I mean,
I like going deep. This is fun.
We're too deep, Dan. You got me
Sorry.
too. You got me too
I'm
deep,
sorry.
buddy.
I'm sorry.
So-
You like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream?
Vanilla, obviously.
I do like vanilla, but I like chocolate too. Like I can't really answer that question.
No, it's chocolate cake and vanilla ice
I
cream.
like vanilla ice cream with a little chocolate syrup.
That's fair.
Straight up chocolate ice cream's too chocolatey.
Yeah,
I
you know
agree.
what? I think I'm on the same deal as you.
And you know what's better than chocolate syrup is hot fudge. Tastes better. It's sweeter.
Yeah.
Put a little peanut butter and malt.
Today's after
salted
show.
peanuts.
Today's after show will be Clem and Kush. He'll be rolling in here like a wrecking ball about 10 o'clock. Him and I will do a couple hours, and then it'll be up on podcast only, wherever you get your podcasting. Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Bubba Army HQ. That's where Clem and Kush will be posted later today. Now,
How are the backpacks doing?
yeah, thanks for asking.
I saw that. Beautiful.
The backpacks, you better, if you're wanting to buy one of these backpacks, these Bubba Army backpacks, which are $41.99, they're about
That's a great price.
$65 backpack. And we ordered a whole bunch of them, and we're halfway sold out. So, like, I would say we sold half of our inventory in one day. So I would say probably by the next couple of days they may sell out. But I'm working on something new. Did I get into my new Bubba Army Alpha Cologne? Did I talk about that?
No.
You didn't talk about it on the air.
I did it.
No.
Just the gummies.
Oh, the gummies are coming. The gummies are coming. But I don't want you guys to clown me.
Getting in the fragrance game.
But listen. I'm a Creed guy. But I can't afford Creed anymore. I mean,
It's ridiculously expensive.
Creed.
What does it go for?
Like
500. No, yeah. Listen, anywhere.
I'm gonna say like $60.
They got Creed's got a whole bunch of different fragrances within the Creed brand, and so low end you can get a Creed for $300, high end $556 for like the standard. What is it? 10 ounce, 6 ounce, whatever it is. So I am a Creed guy, but I don't really have much Creed left. In more ways than one, and so I can't afford it anymore.
Oh yeah, even on Amazon.
Yeah.
3.3 ounces, $4.95.
Yeah.
Jesus
So I'm just saying. So
Christ.
listen to this.
That's why we're.
So you got to hear me out. So because because we've been doing so great quantities of merchandise, you have these vendors that pay Chargeify and Stamps.com and there's vendors and businesses that pay the people that process our shipping, which I think we use Chargeify, right?
Yes, we do.
So we use you have to have the software to be able to ship stuff, weigh it and put postage on it and all that kind of deal. And we use Chargeify. Well, Chargeify will sell your data to various vendors that manufacture what you're slinging. Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So because our volume, Lummy, has been astronomical, we're starting to get manufacturers in different niche areas that I've never even thought of. So like the backpack, we had a backpack vendor get a hold of us and say, here's what our manufacturing costs are. We think we've seen some volumes on some of your other things.
That wasn't your idea? That was a vendor contacted you and you're like, great idea?
No, it was my idea, and a vendor had contacted us probably, 2 weeks prior. Well, yeah, I guess it might have been a vendor idea. I don't know. I don't know. So a fragrance vendor got a hold of me. And this has been a while. This has been probably like November, okay? Because I've been really having a lot of correspondence with this vendor because I'm interested in doing it, and he has sparked my interest, and so I can't, and so I'm going to make 500 collector bottle, Lummy. It's going to be called Bubba Army. And then in the middle, it's going to have an Alpha A. My fragrance, I'm going to do a fragrance every year, Dan. And the volume number will show you the year that it was manufactured. Like, so this year's volume number is 24. So it'll be Bubba Army Alpha Volume 24. Now, I've been talking to this guy, and I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but he has a fragrance that is... I have some Creed left, and I could spray my real Creed next to my fake Creed, and it's
Pretty close.
It's dead on, brother. And so
It smells just as good.
Yeah,
It's not the same, but it smells just as good.
right, exactly. And so it's, I'm gonna manufacture. I don't know how many bottles. Let me limited
You
edition.
said 500, I thought.
I might make it 250. I might even pare it down more, but I'm going to either make it 500 or 250. It's going to say Bubba Army, and in the middle so this year's edition, Lummy, will be Volume 24, and the name of the fragrance is this year's name is Alpha.
Nice.
Bubba Army Alpha Volume 24. And so I'm looking at price points and things like that, and I think it's either going to be $49 or $59.
Ooh.
And with a designer bottle and a really neat label with Volume 24 on it, and the Bubba Army logo with a gold A that stands for Alpha, the symbol of Alpha, which is a cursive A in gold. And then next year, Lummy, I'll do Volume 25, and I'll pick a different. Maybe it'll be Driven, or the name of your cologne has to be
It can't be like Handshake.
It can't be like Flowery Meadow. But Bubba Army cologne's not going to be ever Flowery Meadow, ever. Like it's just going to be cool words. That are strong.
It's cool words.
Strong.
Alpha's
cool.
a cool word.
I know. What do you think? I
like
made?
it.
Volume 24 Alpha. Maybe next year will be Volume 25
Beta.
No.
not
Beta
beta.
is not as cool as Alpha.
No. There's not gonna be a beta. It means
my
you have
bad.
a clone. You'd be
we
a
can
pussy.
skip to Delta, maybe Gamma.
When you throw on Alpha about it makes you feel like a man. Makes you feel like you're in charge. If Bubba had a fragrance called Beta, what do you spray it on yourself and you go around and act like a pussy?
Actually,
Like,
be a cool
hey,
one would be Sigma.
I got Bubba Army Beta on today, so I'm going to be a little bit nicer, and
Yeah.
you can yell at me. I'm a little bitch today. No.
Animal based.
But see, that'll be on a part of a cool thing. And what are we going to name? What am I going to name this year's fragrance?
I think Sigma is a cool name too.
I like that.
Sigmas are Sigma males are males that kind of do their own thing. They're not part of a group. They don't need to be an alpha. They don't need to be a beta. They're like a lone wolf. You know what I mean?
What was that word, though?
Hey, you know what? Lone wolf might be one.
Oh, there you go.
See,
Look at I'm just full of ideas.
That might be more on brand than Sigma when it comes to Bubba Army. I'll be like, hey, Iggy, what do you got on? I got me some Sigma on. What? I got me Bubba Army Lone Wolf, buddy. What's a Sigma? Pussy?
No.
The hell out of here. The Sigma stuff.
What's the name of that little slang word that's brand new that came out having to do with someone who's like real sexy for a guy? There was a word that it was.
Fleek?
No, it wasn't fleek.
I don't
It
think
was
I'm ever.
beyond that.
I'm
It
on
just
fleek.
came out. We talked about it. It was in this show prep like 2 weeks ago. It's a guy that's got a lot of game.
Riz.
Riz.
That's short for charisma.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I like
Riz.
that. But
Riz
And
is
I
cool.
think it's also when you're trying to flirt with someone, they're like, no, like if you're not trying to flirt with someone, you go, no Riz, I'm just trying to give you a compliment.
yeah, but I think I want just anytime I hear the word Riz, I just want to put the word
Riz
his behind it.
Riz
It's like,
is.
every time that you hear the word mother, like there's probably just one cool word you like. Yeah. So like every time I hear the word, unless I'm addressing my mother, but anytime I hear the word, hey, mother, I automatically want to put the effer behind it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same with Riz. Anytime I hear Riz, Lummy, my brain automatically locks in on his.
Riz is.
Riz
yeah.
his. And I don't think I can have a cologne named Riz His, meaning, you squirt it on and all of a sudden you start giving people Riz His.
Yeah.
No.
That's an inside Iggy.
Yeah.
So, let me this year, very, very practical. It's going to be Bubba Army Alpha.
I like it.
And it's,
Simple.
and you know what? I think I have my sample.
Ooh. Like now?
May I smell?
Well, I need to go to my truck and get
Can
it.
do a sniff test?
I need to go to my truck and get it, and let you guys. And I think it's competitively priced because I looked at kind of the mid range.
They're all $50 at least.
Yeah, I mean
anything decent is going to be $50.
And so if you can wear a $59.95, if you can wear a $60 cologne,
it smells like a $400 cologne.
That you $500 or $600 cologne.
That's a win.
You got it. Listen, it's not. And here's the thing: I wouldn't be even putting it to market if I didn't. If when this guy sent me several samples, but the one sample that I've dialed in is this one, and it had it, not even be similar, like it just be, something that's. Your nose is very, very astute. Like your nose can pick up differences.
And,
Like, A, and if you smell A and you smell B and they're similar, or they're not, your nose, you can't really trick your nose.
Besides that, Bubba, your olfactory senses are the strongest for memory.
Right.
So you can take a smell that you haven't smelled in 40 years, smell it again, and all of a sudden you're back to that moment when you smelled it 40 years ago when you were a kid at your aunt's house.
Right. Well, so when you wear Bubba Army Alpha, that chick just might not be able to control herself. Have you seen those new cologne that they got out? They're like, I forget what it's called. It says it has these very influential pheromones and you're guaranteed to get laid and all that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you this right now. My cologne, I'm not going to tell you that you're guaranteed to get laid or not, but people, when you wear it, and I do 2 squirts. I got one. Here's how I wear my cologne. I put one on my left side of my neck and one on my right side of my neck, and then I put one on my left and right wrist and kind of rub them together.
Mm-hmm.
And
wrists?
I put them on my wrists. And then I rub them together and just kind of go up one arm and down the other.
That?
That's just the way I do it.
Okay.
How do you do your cologne?
I spray my neck and then I spray my head.
Okay. Did your mom teach you how to do that, bitch?
Nope.
Okay, then.
because the wrist thing is like I don't know. I just always thought that's.
I'd say it's a feminine thing.
It's a distribution thing, is what it is.
Okay.
You put it right here.
Spray your head like a man, Bubba.
It does look feminine. So you spray right here on your. You spray one big spray on your wrist. Then you rub them together like your Wonder Woman, and then you take this one up that forearm, and then that one up that forearm, and you are macked out. And I'm telling you right now that when you wear my cologne, Bubba Army Alpha, it's at least 1 or 2 people will stop you during your day and say,
"What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? Like, what is that? What is that?"
According to the Men's Journal, Bubba is correct. It says that they recommend you spray it along your wrist or your pulse points to distribute the.
How about everybody right now saying they're sorry? You're trying to be a bunch of dicks.
I'm sorry.
Get me on a fem deal.
I thought that was just the way girls did it.
That's the way you're
We do.
because your wrists are like an erogenous pulse zone that gets extra hot.
Pulse points.
Dan,
My ankles, my wrist, and my
neck. Question: when they check a person's pulse, what do they use? They go
ankle, wrist, or neck.
Okay. And man, if you
So
could
I
bend
spray my
down and
neck.
squirt a couple on your ankles, that probably wouldn't be bad either. Ankle,
He
wrist,
can't reach his
neck.
feet.
Yeah, I spray my neck, but not my wrist. Interesting.
Ankle, wrist, neck.
Yes, it's neck,
Think about
chest,
it.
and wrist.
So, when you when you do Bubba Army Alpha, you're going to get stopped at least 2 or 3 times a day. I promise you. And you're going to smell like you got a $400 cologne on. I swear to God, Dan, I know you're a Creed. You're definitely a Creed connoisseur.
Oh, I like Creed a lot.
And you own Creed. Just
How long
like I
does
do.
one 3.3 ounce bottle last you?
Interestingly, it lasts less than a year because you always run out before the next holiday.
Yeah, but hold on. But when you buy Bubba Army Alpha, it's not that $450 bottle of Creed. No, it's that $59 Bubba Army Alpha, bitch. I'm rolling around smelling like I'm $400, but really I got $50 into myself.
So
That's the way you do it.
if I sprayed my wrists too, that'd be another spray. So I'd probably only get 6 months out of it.
I don't know. I'm
You
gonna
know
go.
what I mean?
Let me.
Like I
I'm
tried a
gonna.
little
I'm
bit
gonna
to
go
two
to my.
spritzes.
I'm gonna go to my truck.
Frugal like myself.
I'm gonna go to my truck, and I'm gonna get my sample.
Yeah, I can't wait to
perfect.
smell.
I'm gonna get my
Can't
sample.
wait.
We'll do that, and I got some.
Do coffee?
What?
Coffee beans
No,
to clear your palate.
What?
When you go to Creed and you start trying to.
The C Morning Zoo on Z100.
You're
Nope,
not. Oh, you're not taking it.
Not taking that.
Right.
Because when you go to Creed to smell the colognes, because they have like 14 different
What did
variations.
you just say to me?
Just trying to explain.
I'm
the
trying to
coffee
explain the
bean.
coffee. The coffee clears your nasal palate. You know, like when you sometimes will drink eat lime sherbet if you try to sample different foods.
Right.
The nasal palate clearing is the coffee beans. And so when you're at Creed and you're looking at different colognes, they'll have you smell one and then sniff the coffee beans before you smell another.
Oh.
It's like ginger when you're eating sushi.
Okay.
Exactly.
See, Dan, that's how fancy you are, buddy. I just ordered my. I usually just ordered my Creed. I didn't.
Because you know the smells.
Yeah. So anyway, let me get to words because I'm excited.
Okay.
And I want you to be honest.
Okay, of course.
And then Anna, you who may not be familiar with Creed,
I'm not. No.
Just what do you think about what do you think about my friend? This
Awesome.
potentially is what what I spray on everybody here is potentially this is about my 8th or 9th generation of tweaks that I've made with this guy. I mean, he just didn't send this to me. This is his, batch number 29 for however.
Oh, you went back and forth?
Oh, I've gone.
You've tweaked it?
Yes.
Really?
Kept this under wraps. I'm
No,
shocked.
Wow.
Yes, I've.
Bubba, you're like, what's that word? The people that smell things, there's a word for it. It's a weird, like a.
Weirdos.
No, like, like a wine taster has a word. There's a word for.
I don't know. Sniffers.
The sniffers.
So anyway, this person would send me a sample. I'd spray it. And then I have the bottle of Creed that I'm trying to emulate. I have about a quarter bottle left. And then I'd spray that on one wrist. And then I'd wait like 15, 20 minutes. And then I'd, smell the sample wrist and smell the Creed wrist. And then I'd email them back. Still not quite. It seems like it needs just a little bit more like spice, like a little more spice. That's what I would say. Spice.
Add spice?
Yeah, just because I don't know. I don't know what smells or identifies that. And so
There's
finally,
like musks and spices.
I would just say
and
nope,
woods.
still not there. Just. So this is my 9th sample. And this is the reason why I'm talking about this today, Lummy, is because I think I finally got it.
Awesome.
So I've not said a word up into this because I didn't want to say. Now that what I'm going to be honest, they are in the process of making this right now. I picked out the labels yesterday. So like Lummy, but I had to dial in the fragrance before I get ahead of myself.
Of course.
Because I didn't want to. I wanted to be perfect. Because I want people to say, "Oh my God, you can get Bubba Army Alpha that smells just like some of this $600 stuff for $50, or $60." I think the retail is going to be $59.99.
That's a good price.
And just so I'm going to get it. This is my 9th generation of it, but I think this is the one that last night when I talked to the dude at like 4 o'clock, that's last night to me. When I talked to this dude at 4 o'clock and I gave him the go ahead to go with this particular sample, so we're now a manufacturer. They're starting today. We could have them in a month.
That's awesome.
Maybe less.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a real sommelier.
But I've been working on this since September, October. And it'd be a nice spring product to have. But I don't know if I'm doing 250 or 500, but I'm gonna do a very, very limited amount. And I'm not once they're sold out. Like let's say I do 500, then once those 500 are gone, there's no more of it. You have to wait till next year's fragrance, volume 25. Which looking like it might be, what we were saying is going to be a Sigma Lone Wolf. Maybe Lone Wolf. I mean, that might be a little too white Triz-ashy, Lone Wolf. I don't know.
People may think you put the
Howling
cologne
Wolf.
on
How
and
about Howling
Wolf? I don't know.
you're all alone.
How about aggressive?
How about Howling Wolf?
Or, listen, I got to let you smell this year's before I already got next year's whipped up, okay? I'm going to go get it. I'll be back in a minute.
The voice of reason has spoken.
The Love Sponge.
More Bubba the Love Sponge after this.
Dan, look what I got. I got coffee.
Oh,
Merch.
a wine steward.
And this is my So Lumby, you gotta come here and put this on. I'm gonna put it on me first.
Can I just smell it?
Hold on.
It's clear.
Okay. And we'll go.
No, that's right. I got cologne. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it smells really good. That's a good smell.
But I smell my neck. Now it's really strong right now because I just put it
I know.
on.
It takes a couple
Yeah.
minutes to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It is really good though.
It's real clean. It's just real
Yeah, I want to fuck it.
stuff. It's just real clean.
I like it. I'd wear that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So
That's a neat idea.
I didn't know that about the coffee.
You didn't know about that for smells?
that's a good smell. That's a fucking.
Yeah, it smells good, dude.
I should put some on Lummy. I gotta put some on Lummy. And see, you
Well,
want some of my new cologne Mosh or no?
Yeah, how it mixes with steroids.
How it mixes with. Hold on. No, hold on. Give me your wrist.
You don't want to overdo it.
And then now go like this, and up there, and go up there. All right,
Well,
now
it's
you.
about 5
Because if we
strips.
can get you to fucking smell, now rub those together. Now up one forearm, and like this.
Like this.
Okay, now around your. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And then we'll see. Oh yeah, you guys are kind of the
Is
testers.
he drunk or no? Is this cologne? Is this your cap, Bubba?
And by the way, this will be the size of the bottle.
Which is perfect size.
It's
Good
okay.
size.
How many
that's
full
pretty
ounces?
sizes.
I don't know how many ounces that
This
is.
is about 5.
5 or 6.
4 or 5.
So
That glass is thick.
that's how it's gonna be with the Bubba Army logo.
Perfect.
And I actually might have the
Alpha 24.
and volume. Volume 24.
Alpha volume 24.
Sommelier. Is that how you
Sommelier.
Sommelier.
Mommy, will you please get me a drink if you...
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So I wasn't trying to say that. Piss you off.
Something like Conley.
We're 100% not even on Venmo. So I don't know if we want to try to escalate that. But you can't search for us. You can't give us anything. We're not even listed anymore.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna have to let it play itself out.
Okay. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Big red,
Yeah.
big longer. Yellow name. Xerxes 69. Organic gene. He's like, this guy Lummy BTLS really likes you, Lummy.
Oh my
That
god.
was so
That
funny.
was fucking hilarious. He said, I hate Lummy. Oh my god. Fucking Jay. That was super funny.
Dave TBO. That's funny. Leg drop. Thank you. That was funny.
Morning, Mike Conley.
COVID strains. When's the last time you had a Bubba Army hoodie?
They're coming out right now.
Oh, they are? Okay. People were asking on chat.
I know. Our last one got fucked up.
Oh, really? Is that the one they had to send the order back?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I see. Some Dom Hamdorf. Yeah, Scott.
Great, those dude. Thank you.
Vindy, Gary Cantrell.
What they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of
What's up, Bubba the Love Sponge?
is there
Very
is
long.
anybody on leash? Well, I'm saying you on leash. It's like free speech. Wait for all what people say. Gonna tell people what to believe. Gonna tell people.
No.
I don't fucking tell any other human being.
Biggie.
Say what they think, and there's no leash
DUI.
on any of it. What is your question?
Good morning, Big
I
Longer.
was asking that question. I'll move on though. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. That's ridiculous.
All
Say,
speak.
give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother.
Andy 17, good morning. Kicks for Guns 2X, good morning.
What's up,
Heather
Yinzer?
Liz, Hollywood 69. Oscar Caligas.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
DJ Click. Carlos Clem.
Warning, warning. The following program contains objectionable content, which may cause oral discomfort. This is the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
All right, so to close out the last topic we were speaking about, which is going to be my new Bubba Army Alpha Cologne. Which I'm probably initially, and I don't blame you, that some people in this room, or even maybe a few people, or actually probably a lot of people that are listening to the show right now, be like, all right, whatever, Bubba, you're gonna come out with a cologne. It's gonna be some, Axe / brute, just not designer smelling at all, not expensive smelling. Not different, not like when you smell it, you're like, wow, that's pretty. Just it's gonna be like, again, very Axe-ish, like an Axe body spray, and you're gonna try to shove it down your throat with your Bubba Army marketing and your limited deal and your stupid name Alpha with your volume 24. I can see where there would be a lot of people that would be skeptical about that.
A little.
And so I brought, this is the bottle's gonna be this big. And it's gonna be inscribed. It's either gonna have a label, or I think it's gonna have a label on the front side. And this is what it'll be packaged in something kind of cool. And so I sprayed some on myself. I tried to spray on Dan, but Dan was like, I already got cologne on. And so I sprayed some on Lummy, and I sprayed some on myself, and I sprayed some on Macho Man, and Anna was the first sniffer. So Anna, and again, I very rarely tell you what you're supposed to say, and when I ask you to be honest, you usually are. You don't,
For better or worse.
For better or worse. Sometimes your little filter, your non-filter gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
But bless your little soul, you try to be fair down the middle, like Fox. You try to be
fair and balanced.
Yeah, fair and balanced. You're the furthest thing from in life, actually. But that you try hard.
Okay.
So what did you honestly think?
Honestly, I was surprised. It's really good. It's really it's like a clean smell, and it's not too spicy, because sometimes I feel like men's colognes can be like, oh, it smells good, but it's like too much. It's subdued. It's kind of like a little bit muted. It's not too strong, and it's a clean smell. I really like it.
I mean, and so I think it's to the point where if some guy was wearing it and you were checking out at Publix, somebody might, hey, what are you wearing? Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, and it'll get even. You got me when I first sprayed on at my heaviest, meaning it's the heaviest scent.
Mm-hmm.
As it kind of wears
Fades
off
a little, yeah.
It becomes a little at first it's a little strong, but by
every cologne is, yeah,
an hour or two, which would take you by the time you sprayed it, after you took a shower, you sprayed it, or you got dressed. by the time you get to work and you're probably dealing with people, it's probably right where it needs to be. You're probably dialed in. Let me. They sprayed some on you too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be interesting to.
That was amazing.
I know.
It was
I know.
a lie. He sprayed a lot on you.
Yeah, I mean you're a big dude.
Yes.
I don't know what.
There's a lot of surface area.
I don't know how my Bubba Army Alpha is reacting to the pheromones to the hormones versus the pheromones. They're in there fighting right now, battle royal. And so
Hormones and pheromones.
if Bubba Army Alpha, my new cologne, can make you smell, a big gorilla of a man, big hairy infested Sasquatch, if you will,
Then it will work for the majority of the Bubba Army.
I think it would work for almost any human being known to man.
Perfect.
If it works for you. If it smells good on you, then, because you're just a big, not that you're smelly, but you're just a big, mountain.
Lumpy doesn't smell.
Yeah, I'm just a big guy.
He doesn't smell bad.
Yeah, your baseline's not smell. You're a clean dude.
Are you saying he looks like a guy that would smell?
But he,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
He kind of,
Absolutely.
yes. You know what? Perfect. Absolutely perfect, Anna.
And you look
Hell
like a girl
yeah.
that can smell from a mile away.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
Absolutely perfect.
Thank you, Dr. Dan.
So Lummy looks like a dude that could potentially smell.
Right.
If you saw Lummy at Lowe's, because he's there, all the time for all of his little projects he's got going on, and you saw him in the lumber pile, loading up 2x4s all by himself and throwing in some 3/4-inch plywood,
Yep.
and he's sweating, and he's 6'6" with a Jerry curl natural, and you're gonna be like, man, and big old bushy ass beard. That guy probably would be a candidate to smell it.
Most likely,
But
yes.
can you imagine if they walk by you, Lummy, and are like, God, I know that big Sasquatch smelled like he was in some designer stuff.
Whoa. It's alpha.
So anyway, I'm excited. I don't know when I'm going to get them, but they started manufacturing yesterday. I'd probably say
Really?
4 to 6. I put my order in and gave him my credit card and all that information. Paid for it yesterday. And, so I think 4 to 6 weeks potentially. And
That's really interesting, Bubba, and good for you for stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I'm just going to be like,
It's awesome.
And I mean, and I'll make it a yearly deal, and it'll be somewhat of a potential collector's item in the fact that if you smell it on a dude, you're like, chances are you're not going to be able to buy it because I'm assuming it'll probably just sell out. Everybody's going to want it. And there's a limited amount, when it's gone, it's gone. You're not going to hear me go, Lummy, we sold 500. I probably could do another 500. People have been going crazy.
Nope.
I did that on the back. I do that on some items that sell out, and I'm like, yeah, well, we'll do some more, just like the backpacks.
But the newer backpack's slightly different,
but
isn't it?
backpacks are backpacks, and fine cologne is a whole nother deal. It's like fine wine. You know what I'm saying?
There's
Fine
a batch is a good year.
Yeah, there's just one batch. I can't. The batch that I put on is the batch he's using. Like that is the batch.
Oh, I get it.
So he took a sample out of the batch that we've decided on. So. And I'm not going to say, oh, I sold out 500, Lummy, in 2 days. Bet you I could do another 500. Nope. When it's gone, it's gone. When volume 24 is gone, it's gone. Nice. And then then maybe next year, Lummy, like right after we'll figure out what day this one became available. Maybe it'll be like March 1st or something like that when we finally get them. And then that will be the day that we do every year that we open up the new fragrance day, like whatever day it is.
Perfect.
Like, oh, volume 25 comes out March 3rd of next year. Might want to make sure you get some of that action. So, Anna, I know that next week is going to be without me, and it's going to be you're going to be hosting.
Yep.
And I got to thinking about it, and then Monday, of course, you'll have Dan. Well, Seth is in every day on your mic, and then Monday and Tuesday will be Dan, and then probably Jay, and then Wednesday it's just you, Lummy.
Seth,
and the boys behind the glass.
Yep.
Which boys behind the glass, man, you guys might need to have to step up a little bit, to help guide the ship. It's all hands on deck.
Oh yeah.
And then Thursday, everybody with the addition to Babyface, and then on Friday the same as Wednesday.
You mean Tuesday? And
Yeah, because Dr. Dan's here Friday. Right?
What's right? No, yeah, right. Dan's here on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Friday is the same as Monday and Tuesday.
Yep.
So really only one show that you don't have somebody in here to probably. I don't know if Brian and Dan are going to be more like alpha and try to boss hog them over her.
Well, we know Babyface will.
Well, yeah, of course he will.
I work well when
Dan's
Anna's
good.
hosting.
Okay.
I played with her.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so here's something.
Dr. Dan
honestly.
Dance as well. Sometimes Babyface tries to take over, but I can just shut his mic off, so
Right.
it's helpful.
Oh.
So what I was going to do
No,
is
but Brian's great.
I'll come up with this thing called the Anna override, and I don't want you mad at me because I'm concerned that you might get down one of your conspiracy holes or something like that, and you start getting a little crazy, and the boys need to pull you back, but they don't have a mechanism to pull you back. So I'm going to call it the Anna override, and you at that point, Lummy, there's no sound effect or nothing, but let's say Anna's getting into some really just not probably on point Bubba Army brand type stuff.
And
you know what I'm
everyone
saying?
in chat's complaining.
Everybody's on chats complaining, like, what the hell? Honest, then whoever's in the studio, whoever's here,
Okay.
whoever's on the air, from Macho Man to Rhett, to Jay, to Dan, to Brian, to Seth, to you, Lummy, which I think I mentioned to everybody.
Yep.
If anybody thinks that Anna's being a little too, she might need to be pulled back a little bit, or she's running a little hot, whatever, you say, I propose, excuse me. Yes, what's going on, Lummy?
On override.
Oh, I'm enacting.
Oh, I'm enacting the Anna override.
All right, now, at that point, it's not an override until you get a second.
Oh.
Second.
Okay, so then, boom, at that point, Anna has now been overridden.
All right.
And that results in?
Results in
A break and a reset.
Yeah, there you go. A break and a reset.
Yeah.
I think, but Lummy, Lummy, you and Dan, everybody, don't overuse it.
Don't override?
Yeah, don't overuse it, because then you're the problem.
Yeah.
So know that she's putting.
Can I override it on an override? I object. Right? Isn't that what you're saying, Court?
Can.
Well, then yeah, you can, and then you guys can engage, which might be funner than the stupid stuff you were talking about prior. Now you're mad about being overridden, and your topic matter that you were talking about that everybody thought sucked is now officially gone, and now you're getting mad about override. And the override conversation is far more compelling than one of you who pulled Building 7.
We all know. We all know.
Controlled demolition.
So, Lummy, here's the it's the Anna override. You get you stop her, stop, however you need to do it audibly.
Okay.
And then you go, I am enacting an Anna override, and at that point,
second,
at that then
I object.
And so then everybody has to kind of whatever you guys figure. Then you guys
just be a melee.
Then you guys just figure it out.
Oh, perfect.
Just figure it out. So that's all next week. I will not be here. This Lummy, I think it's the first time that we've ever this long of a period.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
there was the week you had COVID back in 21
was 3 days?
No, I think it was a full week.
Was it?
Was it?
It was either 3 or 4. Yeah, I think it was 4 days.
I think you couldn't take it, and you came back a day.
Meaning I was listening to the show, and I was like, I have to get in there. Well, you didn't have the Anna override back then.
I know. No. Back then, you've been calling it every day.
And Anna wasn't, quite frankly, wasn't as good of a host. She's continuing, as she does her own shows on Friday and just has more mic time. You get better. You get better
She's growing.
at being, on the air.
I don't just host that show. I do it completely by myself.
No, but that is even no. But hold on,
that's even harder to do. Yeah.
That's even conditioning you more to be a host. So when you do it an hour or so by yourself, that is like training at altitude.
Yeah,
it's like doing
with an oxygen deprivation mask.
Right, on. It's just making you that much better if you can pull it off and you can sound decent and it's a pretty good show. Then you're just really, really, really practicing to be a really good host because you'll have far more tools when you have others, to help.
Absolutely.
So
I'm not worried about it.
Anyway,
we're gonna do great.
Anna's gonna host all next week. I have to be at the track every day. It seems like this year. Well, we are racing a little bit more, but it's a little. I think it's few extra days I'm taking this year.
Yes,
just because of the sheer volume of racing, and I have to be there for the track, and we're doing camping now. So,
really?
So Merch is going to be in charge of charging for camping. So when they pull in, they have to go to Merch. Merch Crick's going to be at this little Bubba Army tent right when you pull in, and you got to pay her for how many nights you want to go camping.
Nice.
And then she'll go tell you what spot to get in. And then Drunk Dave is policing the spots. and then I'm prepping the track. And I think we're getting the wall painted next week, and I got to get with Austin from Wolf Fencing to see if he can help me do a little bit of a fence project, maybe next week sometime.
Oh, nice. We'll go with him.
So I am just slammed, but I'm sure you guys will do well.
We're gonna do great. I'm not worried about it.
Some reporter asked Dana White, is it true that you, before you let your fighters come up here and have a press conference, that you have them on somewhat of a leash and there's some topics that they cannot talk about? Like transphobia and homosexuality and just, whatever, steroids, whatever. And Dana White, which at the end of the day, I think Dan's going to say, if you, have contractually are paying these men millions and millions of dollars, at the end of the day, I think you could have a little say so on how they
Absolutely.
and how they're
That's their job.
how they're promoting your brand. It wouldn't be unreasonable for Dana White to say, "Listen, guys, I'm going to we're going to have a big press conference. The entire world's going to be watching. These press conferences usually get 80, 90, 100 million different views. It's all about the UFC. It's my brand. I'm the president of this corporation, and we're paying you $5.5 million, 10, however many." Even for a mid-level guy, brand new guy, that he's still getting $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And so in doing so, while you're repping my brand, I have zero tolerance for you getting into the following topics.
And Bubba,
that wouldn't be unreasonable.
Not at all. He's got a multi-billion-dollar brand, and even if it's just a guy racing at East Bay Raceway or Bubba Raceway Park, whoever's sponsoring him and whoever controls him is going to say, you should talk about A, B, and C, and you shouldn't talk about X, Y, and Z. And so it's any person that's representing any professional organization is supposed to know what he can and cannot say so as to promote him and his brand and not to create a problem.
Dana White says
it's just part of professional sports.
Dana White says, I have every right to do that, but I don't. And this guy he really sets this guy straight. I got to find out. He cusses one time in here. I got to find out where it's at.
About you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about what they can say when they are up there with the UFC microphone, and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Is there?
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying
a leash.
I'm
free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people I don't fucking
I got it.
Human being.
Nice.
What to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want, and they can believe whatever they want.
So
it's kind of a separate
and that's America
issue.
right there, man.
I love
you
it.
should say whatever you want, believe whatever you want, and not be ashamed to have those positions.
Yeah, but in today's America, if you indeed do that, some people are allowed to and some people are not, but the majority are not. And you can't really say what you want because now Dana White, he's kind of in his own little box. But believe me, he may say that, that he doesn't tell them what they can and cannot say. But the guys know what is going to get them in potential trouble with corporate. And, when you say and do something erratic, you may not get canceled, but your sponsors could potentially leave you. And the trolls are just the trolls are just 3 people can control a complete can make a company jump through all kinds. Just 3 people can make on Twitter. I've seen corporations do complete ass kissing fest on 3 people's Twitters and with a couple retweets, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So you should be able to say anything you want. For the most part. I mean, you can't say fire in a building and things like that, but you should be able to say anything you want.
But that's separate when someone is paying you to do a sport. Like with the NFL, and the kneeling and stuff like that. They're like, we don't have the rights. It's like, you absolutely do have the right if you're being paid by a corporation, and they're like, we don't stand for this sort of thing.
Right, corporations
It's not
are
like
allowed
you're going
to
to
have
jail.
rules.
You just might get fired. That's
Right.
all.
I mean, corporations are allowed to have rules.
Yep.
And hasn't
But with-
Dana White fired people that have had like personal beef with him? Like, so maybe
Yeah.
they could say, "Oh, I'm a Republican, Democrat. He doesn't care about that." But if you have personal beef with Dana and you call him a POS or something, he's gonna fire you.
Yeah, as he
It's like the
should.
wrestler.
Riddle,
CM
Oh,
Punk. Was it CM Punk?
Was it? No,
Or are you talking about
Riddle.
the-
You're talking about
Matt
Riddle.
Riddle.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
Right. Matt Riddle, listen to this.
That's what he wanted to say.
This
But
is the listen.
Where
listen.
is he now?
No, but this is
Oh.
he kind of got Bubba clemmed a little bit
Oh no.
in the fact that Matt Riddle was a really good UFC fighter for Dana White.
He's a
really,
black belt in jiu-jitsu.
He was really good, and he was up and coming. But he tested positive for weed a few times, and basically told Dana and they got into some heated conversations and heated back and forth, and Matt Riddle made it very publicly known that he thought Dana White was a piece of shiz, and Dana White made it publicly known that he thought Matt Riddle was a piece of shiz, and Matt Riddle was lucky enough to have the look and the ability and the charisma to be a professional wrestler, get into the WWE developmental program that next. NEX or whatever, NXT or whatever it was, get into the farm league system of the pro wrestling, WWE, did well, zipped right on through that, and was getting an unbelievable push by WWE. Was one of their main characters. I mean, they had him tagged with Randy Orton. I mean, I think he held the strap at one time, and Vince loved him, and all the creative people loved him, and
Does that process happen really quickly from
No.
0 to 100? Where
Usually-
they don't know who you are, and then all of a sudden you're like almost a household WWE name. if that makes
Sometimes
sense?
it's just all about how they push you and how they put, how they
Market you.
how they market you. And so, they marketed Matt Riddle as kind of like the stoner, cool bro, kind of deal.
He was always like barefoot, right?
Yeah, and always on like a skateboard,
Long
or always on
hair.
like long ass hair. Like he would, and like one of the angles that they were doing is he's like Bill Goldberg is like our Iggy. He's really stressed out. So Goldberg was like walking backstage, and Matt Riddle goes, "Hey, bro, what's up?" Like just being.
You're not my bro.
He goes, "You're
Bro.
Goldberg all Iggy'd out. Go, you're not my bro." He's like, "Oh, sorry, bro." And then they tried. I think Bill Goldberg was going to try to beat him up or something like that. Well, so Matt Riddle's doing good as hell, like killing it, just doing good as hell, like making a couple $1 million with WWE. By the time you throw in the merchandising and all that kind of deal, he's making probably $1.5 million, $2 million. Because they have some pretty good merchandising splits and things like that. Well, guess what?
What?
Everything's going great.
Until
Matt Riddle, you're the man.
Yeah, number 3 in merchandise.
Number 3 in merchandise, like you are the man. Then guess what?
What?
The parent company of UFC buys WWE, putting Dana as the dude that oversees all operations.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and
ruh-roh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dana calls up
I guess you
Triple H, who kind of is the main dude now that Vince is, 110, and Shane, I for whatever reason, I don't know the McMahons, they're on the board, but they don't, they're not part of day-to-day operations, and Triple H is Hunter. That's the kind of the main dude at WWE, and Dana calls up Hunter and just says, "Hey, Hunter, I don't really one of the guys on your roster. I really don't. I don't really like. He's a real dick. Him and I had a real bit. Same as Matt Riddle. I need you to go ahead and give him his notice. Boom.
Gone.
WWE, which answered to nobody back in the day, because they were owned by Vince. If Vince Vince liked you, they liked you. They didn't have to. Nobody was telling Vince what to do. Well, now that you're not owned by now that you don't own yourself and somebody else owns you, guess what, Matt Riddle, you're Gonzville, buddy.
It didn't have anything to do with that scandal he was involved in.
No,
years
I
ago.
sent you the Goldberg Riddle thing if you wanted to see it.
Let me do words and I'll come back with it. All right. All right.
Yes, it is. No, it's not. We rudely interrupt the rhetoric to let you know the following. Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
That's what I knew when I went to Sunday school and Hebrew school. I'm like, I gotta date out of my gene pool. We gotta grow a few inches here. And also, I found out I think I'm a T-sex carrier, so it's probably good to not that I'm planning on having children, but not have one with Ashkenazi children.
Are you an Ashkenazi?
Like almost 100%.
Ashkenazi.
I tan real well, so maybe someone fucked an Arab along the way, but for the most part.
Sure, you got a little Allah inside.
Like, yeah, Belarus, Lithuania, like where I derive from both my lineages on my mom and dad.
You realize there was zero chance that you were genetically related to the people that were in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, right?
Not zero chance, but there's a lot of intermarrying. That's why you have like black Jews in Ethiopia, and white Jews in Russia.
The black Jews in Ethiopia are the real Jews.
That's what Kanye would say. What did Kanye say?
He says,
like,
I'm Jew.
I'm Jew.
I'm Jew.
I'm Jew. I was like, wait,
what
what?
that
He's
means.
like Jewish? He's like, no, I'm Jew. He's like, I don't.
I didn't understand them.
Mm-mm.
But if you look at the Egyptian art from the time, there's black and white Egyptians.
They painted them? Oh, they were just kind of looking.
There's paintings, like in the pyramids and shit.
Mostly brown.
There's a mix.
Mm.
Two distinct colors. Look at ancient Egyptian art. There's white Egyptians and black Egyptians.
So cute, dog. 5 for Louis, 57 months.
Yeah.
How about you YouTubers? I'm kind of watching you right now. Appreciate you.
Appreciate ya.
And I only got 147 fucking thumbins.
Thumb us.
And
Take your thumb and thumb us.
800 people watching.
I just thumbed it.
Mm-hmm.
William Scott Goldberg. How tall is he? 6'4". Let's see. A Jew from Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's rare. I know. That's what I was saying. Jews are everywhere. Even when I was in Thailand, there was like a chabad. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's a lot of like Israelis like in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
After they serve in the military, they fucking bounce. Is this what you're talking about? Looks like they got a whole.
Yeah, they did a whole mix, yeah.
A Libyan, a Nubian, an Asiatic. Interesting word, an Egyptian. I guess. I wonder how they ranked them. I'm assuming most of the Egyptians were like this, had your complexion.
Yeah, look like me.
Mm-hmm.
And you.
Which is funny because like I'm Russian. I don't think. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. When I lived in Michigan, I saw it because I didn't see the sun for like 6 months. Oh damn.
Come on, you two, give me some fucking thumb, cuz.
It up. Fish on Jerry. Big E7375.
The son of Ethel and Jed Goldberg.
Old Jed's millionaire.
His dad went to Harvard.
25 big ass nose.
Born your year.
Morning, Felix. Did you have a Peloton?
What happened with it? Did you do something? Controversial?
No, they just like during the pandemic, everyone had a Peloton, and then like everyone's overloaded with work.
Oh, okay, so everyone balling during the pandemic. Why is everyone balling?
Because they went back to normal life.
It turns our data into something
Or
clear
they
to
just got
understand
sick
and
of
Hands
it.
up for this cat.
Let's use
I can't
Monday.com.
really use it for
Thanks for
anything
the
else
data.
except just fucking
I
like.
like data. Yes.
It's funny, Chris. It just got
More
Peloton.
at Monday.com.
We did?
Krista.
Just got one? Oh, that was so 4 years ago.
They're super cheap now. That's why too.
They're going
Well,
down.
what's cheap though? I still see them for like $2,000. People bought them for like $3,000.
They were like 2,800 or 2,500.
Mhm.
And it's just a regular fucking exercise bike with a.
He doesn't care about opinion polls and research studies.
Oh, I feel safer already.
He's more concerned about getting a hot porn star for a mix-in with his wife.
Okay, good, because I want to have sex.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Lummy, did you know? Of course you did. I knew you know that February is Heart Health Month, and more than half of the U.S. population in the United States of America could benefit from blood pressure support. Super Beat Heart Chews are the #1 doctor, pharmacist, and how do you say that, Dan? Cardiologist?
Cardiologist.
There you go. Gosh. #1 cardiologist recommended way to support healthy blood pressure. It even helps promote heart-healthy energy without the stimulants. Paired with a healthy lifestyle, the antioxidants in Super Beets are clinically shown to be nearly 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure than a healthy, heart-healthy lifestyle in itself. 40,000 5-star reviews. Super Beet Heart Chews support heart-healthy circulation. Having a tough day today, Lummy.
That's all right.
My Dyson vacuum broke at the gym. I'm real happy. So you not only get blood pressure support, but you also get productive, heart-healthy energy without the crash. Support your heart health with Super Beet Heart Chews. Get a free month supply of what, Lummy?
Turmeric.
You can get that, a big full-size bag of turmeric for $25 on your order. And get your first free month of supply of Heart Chews, all in the bundle gimmicks. It's a free full-size bag. Again, it's worth $25 on your order by going to BubbaLovesBeats.com. Again, get this exclusive offer only at BubbaLovesBeats.com. Thank you, guys. Is this the Goldberg?
Yeah, when
they were this is when they were really pushing. Let me see here. Can I
back in the hardcore?
Oh, yeah. Can I make? I don't think I can make it any bigger.
You can make it any bigger.
Back in the hardcore wrestling.
Sorry.
Back in the hardcore.
Jesus.
Was that
back in the hardcore wrestling days? People talked about the money and the miles and who could drink the most beer. And I mean, I would start out and I would eat 12 fried eggs in the morning, 2 hamburger patties, oatmeal, and everything would have butter on it. Because at the time, my engine was burning so fast, I was wrestling like 400 times a year.
All right, whatever. We've heard those stories.
Yeah.
This is Matt Riddle's interaction with Goldberg when they were really trying to put Riddle over.
I didn't mean to run into you like
No
that.
problem, bro. How are you?
We gotta talk.
Yeah, anytime, dude.
Anytime.
Anytime.
After this happens, anytime.
All right. I'm in the building. I'll
Cool.
talk to you later.
Cool.
I'll be watching the match.
You got it.
I'll see you in a little, bro.
That you will,
Okay.
bro. Good thing you're wearing your shoes.
I don't need shoes, bro.
You're right, bro. First of all, I'm not your bro. Could have been a long time ago. You put a stop to that.
Okay. Hey, that's an opinion. If you don't like it, that's fine.
You got it.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine, bro.
You got it. I ain't your bro.
I hear you. I hear you.
Goldberg hates him.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why.
It's him and what's the other?
I don't know what the. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, Anna. Conspiracy Willie.
Thank you.
Him and who was the UFC fighter that went wrestling? Who also played Brock Lesnar.
Right.
He hates him too.
So Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg hate Riddle, or
Absolutely hate him.
Really?
Yep.
Because they're scripted too.
Well,
No. This
Goldberg,
is like personal. hate.
Yeah. Okay. Like for some reason, because
Well, I think they're a little. They're you know, they're a little high strung. They're a little uptight.
Well,
maybe
I know
compared
Riddle,
to him.
Riddle has come out and said that he would tap both of them easily.
Yes,
in a fight.
Now, see, I don't know. He could. I guarantee you, he could tap Goldberg very easily. Goldberg has no.
He's also 57.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
old.
he is. He's also old, but he has no formal training in mixed martial arts. Now, if you're talking about Brock Lesnar, not only is Brock Lesnar, was he an NCAA champion as a heavyweight?
Yeah,
I think
so.
more
Hold
than
on,
once,
hold on,
right?
hold on. Yeah, at least once, maybe twice. But so he's a. I mean, he's a. He's a
collegiate wrestler,
an NCAA, an NCAA,
NAACP.
an NCAA, champion for the University of Minnesota, I think. Lummy, in folk style wrestling, which that is the most brutal sport of all. Like, you are part of a team collectively in scoring, but it's an individual sport.
Mm-hmm.
Much like it's
you versus the other guy that wants to rip your head off.
Right, exactly.
And it's real.
And there's nobody that's got your back. There's nobody that can do a block for you. There's nobody that can throw. No, it's just you and him. I've often said, man, you want to toughen up your kid, have him take wrestling and start wrestling. That'll toughen up your kid more than anything. Well, Goldberg has none of that training. And Lesnar not only is an NCAA champion, but he also is, I don't know if he's a black belt, but he at one time was the UFC champion, of the UFC heavyweight champion. So I think he is trained in mixed martial arts.
It says he's a blue belt.
He's a blue belt. Okay. So he's a blue belt in mixed martial arts, and that was good enough to get him. He was what, a 1 or 2 time heavyweight champion for the UFC?
Yeah.
Did you see what he did to that one guy after he made him tap out when they did the rematch?
No.
What was that guy?
Frank Mir.
Oh my God! When he had Frank Mir tapped him out the first time they fought. And
Frank Mir tapped out Brock?
Yeah.
Right.
And then Brock had a vengeance on him about 6 months or a year later. We had him, and I never saw a person get beat in the face that hard for that long without anyone stopping it in my entire life. It still scars me.
Yeah,
it was brutal. He beat the piss out of him.
He did beat the holy hell out of Frank Mir, and a lot of people think that, the stretch that he had towards the end of his MMA career is mostly because of the, what's it called? The kidney disease that he's got.
Hepatitis B?
No, diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis.
That's more about pooping.
Yeah, it's a
Hold on,
dumb belly.
Okay, I'll get you an answer here.
But if you saw the second round and the end of the first round of that fight,
diverticulitis.
Yeah, if you saw the end of the first round and the second round of the Mir Brock Lesnar fight, it's disturbing.
Well, I don't. So when Matt Riddle says I can tap both of them out, Goldberg, I'm dancing with you, kid. You could probably tap Goldberg in less than a minute. Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, Matt, I don't know if you could tap him, brother.
He's 46.
I know he is 46, but he's also 6'5", 6'6".
6'3", 286 is his build weight.
All right,
I bet he's more walking around.
Probably 300 walking around. And Anna, Anna, you appreciate what a blue belt means.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a blue belt. You're a former UFC champion. Now, you don't have the skill set Matt does, and you don't have youth on your size, but you do have
size.
But you have size. You have a lot of size, and your skill set isn't that much lower than Matt's.
What did he do first? He did WWE first.
He was an amateur wrestler at a college, and then he did WWE.
Yeah,
he played in the NFL.
Then he did MMA.
Played in the NFL for a little bit after he left the WWE. Didn't make the team, and then went to UFC.
Tried out for the Vikings or something like that.
He did New Japan Pro Wrestling from like 2006 to 2008. And then that's the year he started training for UFC.
Oh, wow. So UFC was the last thing he did.
Yeah. It wasn't.
And then he went back to WWE in like 2012.
Right.
Oh, and
So
is he currently like WWE now?
He is part-time, but yes, he is still under contract.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I sent you the fight that Dr. Dan was talking about. I don't know if you.
This guy is a Viking.
He's
dude.
he's a Viking.
He's a Viking.
So a lot of
hold
people
on.
don't
So
talk about how good of an athlete he actually is because of his size.
Well, and think about it. So when Matt Riddle says, I can tap out Lesnar and Goldberg. I'm dancing with you on Goldberg, buddy. Like, that's not going to be nothing. But, man, I don't think that you can tap this guy.
You go to 21 minutes, starts the pummel.
Okay.
Final look inside the locker room of the former UFC heavyweight champion, Frank Mir,
Who's a good-looking
looks
guy
to
before
once
this.
again defeat Brock Lesnar here tonight.
That pressure, Joe, of chest on chest. Yeah, and Brock can generate incredible amount of power in that short distance.
Now, is Brock on top?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, Anna, you can see Brock's on top, and he's just killing this dude. Now, this is a rematch because the first time these two fought, the guy on his bottom, the guy on the back, the guy on tapped him.
He tapped him out. He caught him early.
He tapped.
With a punch or what?
I think it was a choke. I think it was
an ankle.
He choked him out.
Choked
Or it
him
was
out.
an ankle lock. I'm sorry. I think you're right, Dan.
Ankle lock.
It was an ankle lock quick.
Ankle lock quick.
Yeah.
So Brock says, okay.
Yeah.
Frank very relaxed on the bottom, though. You see, he's not really.
So anyway, that's the infamous.
What year was that?
2010.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Well, I mean, I forgot to busy out the phones. Damn it.
Oh no.
We
don't
only
have to
take
answer them.
we only take phone calls on Freaky Phone Fridays. Well, just over the nonstop ringing. I'm like, let me answer it so I can clear it, so that I can put the phones on
move
hold.
on with our lives.
Yeah, we can both move on with our life, and I can busy out the phones, and you don't have the ability to call me till Friday. Hello.
Hey, Bubba.
Yes. Who's this?
Hey, it's Pro Wrestler 91. I just wanted, because you're on the Brock Lesnar, it's the only reason why I called.
You were just letting it ring and ring and ring. How many times do you think it rang? 200?
No, I actually only let it ring 4 times, and then I got put on hold. But dig this. So I know the insides, obviously. Brock Lesnar is used in the WWE, or he was. He was used to see if the guys are tough enough to be main event status, who's going to hold the title next. So if you ever saw...
You got a Michael Vick dogfighting ring in the background?
Sounds like it.
You got Michael Vick over for some breakfast?
Yeah, it's my 350-pound Great Pyrenees.
Okay, all right, great. So
anyways, so like when you saw him wrestle against Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Roman Reigns and them, if you noticed, like and Cody Rhodes recently, they literally were getting the crap beat out of them by Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar he's seriously used to see if these guys are going to be tough enough to hold the belt.
Well, I mean, Lesnar, listener, what you're saying is Brock Lesnar works super snug and super tight, and that's just what his reputation is. And
he's a crowbar.
And just because nobody can put him in check, there's not a Kurt Angle in the WWF right now that could shoot style beat him up. I don't know that anybody's shoot style can beat up Brock Lesnar, so he does the old Andre the Giant gimmick where he just literally pulverizes you out there, and you can't really do anything about it because he's just that much of a shoot fighter, tougher than the average guy out there wrestling. Listen, the average guy out there, the average guy,
what we call in the business.
Yeah, well, a jobber, a hooker,
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, there's nobody, like when Andre was rolling hard, he could literally pie face Macho Man shoot style into the side of the ring because he hated Macho Man on the way he treated Miss Elizabeth, and he hated Macho Man and that he wore too much baby oil. The Giant, when you wrestled Andre the Giant, it was just an unwritten and unspoken code that you didn't wear baby oil because he
didn't know what you were going to get.
Well, and you didn't and you didn't wear baby oil, but Randy always insisted on wearing baby oil. So literally, Andre the Giant would go out there and physically, not just working, but would just shoot on Randy until literally Vince would have to tell the referees that that they're going to go home and they're going to be done with it. Whereas, and then when Kurt Angle, who shoot style can and did beat Brock Lesnar in folk style wrestling, he kind of kept Brock in check early in his career. But then after Kurt left, there's really been nobody on the roster, the WWE roster, that shoot style can do anything with this guy. He's the king of the pride.
Except for Riddle.
The only one that us in the business, and you know who exactly I'm talking about too, that I think could take Brock is Ming.
Yeah, well, I don't know I don't know who these people are. I don't really follow it anymore.
You know who Ming is. Anyways, but no, I had to tell you that that's a known fact behind the scenes in WWE, because I've been enhancement talent, and I know a lot of the guys behind the scenes. and stuff, producers and that. And literally Brock Lesnar is used to do that when they're going to elevate somebody, or if they're thinking of putting the main strap on them, they will, set up a match between them, and he
stretches. It's called
him.
It's called stretching.
Yeah,
he stretches them.
Dan Rose says this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, Bubba.
All right, my man. Listen, I got to get going so I can busy out the phone. Right. I appreciate your input. Thank you.
Jeremy?
What's that?
So Daniel Rose says this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I got it. Thanks. Appreciate it. I know we're running late, aren't we, Lummy?
Yes, we
All
are.
right.
Science has studied his brain and still has no theories about the things that come out of it.
I'm talking, you fat ass.
Bubba. Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
Right? With him with a wig.
It's him, like, in drag.
Yeah, it's bad.
She looks strong, though.
Yeah, no shit. I hope so.
She's a good shot.
Oh no! Yeah, you pray for a boy when you have a baby with him. Yeah. Dude, the same shit. What's up, everyone? Oh shit. I don't want to do that. Oh, thanks, Steve, the grumpy old man. Appreciate ya. Come on, Jay Gator, what's up? What the fuck is up? Jesus. What's her name? Maya Lynn Lesnar. She's 21 and she is fucking jacked.
Who's that?
Brock Lesnar's daughter. Remember we saw her?
Oh, yeah, I saw her,
Looks
yeah.
just like him, but with a wig.
Yeah.
And her mom is like, oh. Wait a minute. Oh. I guess she dyed her hair. Oh, no, it's a different person. Yeah. That bitch don't look nothing like her mama.
Well, we'll listen to the cue.
Luke Lesnar.
I thought it was kind of funny. It's a first stream talking in it.
And the rose right. And the rose right.
As long as, she's going to have to
I would hit it.
Okay. So then they can just say, Macho Man hit it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That would be funny.
Wow, she was a babe. Yeah, the pizza review was fucking hilarious. Dark Match Steve, that made me laugh out loud. Laugh out loud.
Lummy, do we have any bottles of water?
Yeah, we got.
See if we got any.
Daddy thirsty?
Daddy's thirsty.
You want me to bring a couple for your fridge?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, God.
Thank you so much, Lum. Perfect. Thank you.
What the hell are you doing?
Strap yourself in. The emotional roller coaster is about to start.
We will give nothing back to the academic community, as well as provide no public service of any kind.
I promise you. Now, back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Lummy, I think I got some PayPal activity.
Oh, awesome.
Venmo seems to be down, so stay away from that. I don't know. It's hard telling what's going on there.
Did you try again?
Oh, no. It's gotten worse. We're not like now. Now we're completely locked where people can't even. Before it was like people could donate and stuff. Now it's like you're locked. It looks like they just vanished our account.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
It's like trolls are killing the world, are they not?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Lummy, we got some good news yesterday in the midst of
wonderful.
Looking like we may have gotten our Venmo canceled.
Oh, perfect.
With money stuck in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, did somebody like report us that we were like a terrorist? Like the Bubba Army is some kind of terrorist Hamas kind of deal.
Hamas?
Oh
I'm
God.
just saying, like, what the hell? Like, what? We're a radio show. We're a radio program. That's all we are. Like, I mean, we're not, trafficking humans or drugs or anything. Not a front for the cartel.
I bet you they have all Venmos that are active right now.
Yeah, ours is locked up Willie. But anyway, PayPal and Cash App at the Bubba Army. And I think I got fish. Let me see. On the PayPal has been pretty active. I just got 3 in that I need to recognize and say thank you to. Fish on the J, Lummy.
Nice.
I think is it Latitude 28 Laser?
Yes, it is. That's Mitch the Mark.
Okay. He's got so many different.
Of course.
Mushroom Mitch the Mark, Latitude 28 Laser, Mitch the Mark, Fish on the J, and Scout and Big Gulp all today.
Woo.
On the PayPal, Cash App at the Bubba Army. Thanks.
Joe Gondak 50 on the Cash App.
Love you guys. That's how we do it. That's how you get your totals up. That's how you get your invitation to BARP. That's how the whole thing works. That's how the whole shakedown works. The whole Bubba Madoff Ponzi scheme, if you will. So anyway, there's 2 markets where the ratings. I'm not going to get too detailed into the ratings talk. Trust me. But ratings are done by a fine company called Nielsen, and they do it in different type of ways. And you are a radio company, and you either subscribe and buy the ratings, which means you have the ability to. That means they rate your radio station. They will actively rate it, and then they will give you a report. 4 times quarterly. You get quarterly reports. That's kind of how it goes. But if you're a radio station and you don't elect to buy the ratings, you don't elect to purchase them, then you cannot. Then they don't even rate you. They don't even rate you. Which, hey, listen, this is how they play their game. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. Mm-hmm. And so, in some markets, we don't know where we rate. We don't know what our ranking is. Like in Tampa, Bruce Midori doesn't buy the ratings, and so they don't rate AM 820 and 98.3 over in Pinellas, which is super strong.
The flamethrower.
It's really strong. A lot of people listen to us on 98.3. I could literally say, go to our Twitter channel, go to our Twitter page or our Twitter account, which is at the Bubba Army, or our Facebook. Those are the two places that I think you can. I guess you can Instagram us as well, but right? Let me, to immediately be able to take a picture. If you are listening to us on 98.3 in Pinellas County right now, and I'd ask you to take a picture of that dial setting right now. Just take a picture of your radio that says 98.3 and send it to my Facebook or my Twitter, both at the Bubba Army. I guarantee you, Lummy, we're going to get 30 or 40 pictures of people, that are listening to us right now on 98.3.
Oh, yeah.
In Pinellas County. But Tampa happens to be one of the markets that our owner doesn't buy the ratings, so we don't know what we are. We have no idea if we're in 15th place, 6th place, or 35th place. We don't have any idea. But in Fort Walton Beach in Orlando, the great JVC people, Shane and Stevie and John Caraculo, and Hedge Fund Willie. They buy the ratings, so we get report cards, from Fort Walton Beach.
Awesome.
And our Fort Walton Beach. Now I need to get a hold of Shane or Stevie or one of those guys and see, like, before we got there, when they were still playing classic rock or whatever they were doing. Remember, Lummy, years ago, this was one of our first stations.
Yes, it was.
And then some guy hated me there. Remember the program director was a real dick.
He hung up on you.
And he wanted to, play music in the morning. So we were there like 5, 6, 7 years, at least 5 years on 103.1. Number one. At one time we were number one, men 18 to 34 and men 25-54. At one time we were. And so they booed us. We were probably out of that market maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it was a while.
Then JVC takes over this flailing radio company. I forget what it was called. And they're like, listen, we're going to, on 103.1, we're going to put on Florida Man Radio based out of Orlando with Bubba the Love Sponge and his show in the mornings. And Shannon Burke in the afternoons. Those are our two big twin towers of talent. And we're going to see what the hell we can do. Well, Lummy, our report card came back.
Oh, yeah?
Number 3, men 25-54. Nice. And number 5, persons 25-54.
Nice.
I need to get a hold of Shane. I think that persons 25 to 54, they might have been in 20th place.
Oh, wow.
25th place. Playing their stale-ass classic rock with some stupid-ass guy. 103.1.
The Shark.
The Shark. That was Foghat, Slow Ride, getting ready to get into another Super 6 set. We got Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, Billy Squier, The Stroke, currently 78 degrees on the Shark, 103.1. I don't think sharks make noises, do they?
No.
I think sharks...
Chomping noises.
Yeah. They make noises, chomping noises right down on your flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, when you're in residency in New Orleans, that close enough to the bayou, did you ever see any shark bites?
No. We saw alligator bites, not shark bites.
And alligator bites are bad, are they not?
Yes, they are.
Wow.
But one of the worst things I ever saw, though, was a guy that was in his boat in the bayou, and he fell out, and the motor got him.
Oh.
and he looks like a manatee's back. I mean, it's like and it went right through his knee. It shattered his knee. He
survived it.
He survived it.
The prop got him.
Yeah, the prop got him.
Oh
That's the
my
worst.
God!
And this is a public service announcement because we've actually represented people because of these injuries before in the past as well. And that is, if you for some reason get ejected from a motorboat, do not try to climb into that boat. You will get hit by that prop, and it will be a catastrophic injury. And if you are ever injured in a boating accident, you please feel free to call my firm at 888-SOS-FIRM, and you'll talk to Jay or myself. But it's catastrophic injuries. I've seen them across backs, arms, legs. You just don't get over it. The injuries take weeks and weeks and weeks to heal.
Death.
You're in pain. They can kill you. You're in pain for years. It's catastrophic to a joint. It's devastating.
I mean, so if you fall off your boat,
let it go. Who cares? Let it go.
But that's my boat, bitch.
Who cares? You got insurance. Let it go. Hopefully it doesn't hit somebody.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid of.
They get another boat side by side, but don't try to climb in.
And I'm 6 miles out, man. Nobody's going to find me out here.
They're going to find the sharks are going to find you after the propeller rips you apart.
Oh my God,
that's true too.
I wonder how you talk about tough, man. Like if you were out 6 miles and you didn't have like a flotation device, and it was just you're all by yourself. Just one swell after another. Like, I mean, Dan, what are you supposed to try to start kind of swimming in, or
Well, it's controversial. I mean,
will the tide take you in?
It depends on the way where the tide's going and where the currents and the wind. There's a lot of things it depends on. They always say that if there is a boat wreckage, you stay near the wreckage on something that floats if you can. If there's nothing there, then you're either going to be treading water there, or you can start trying to make your way back to land. The problem is that people get lost trying to swim back to land. They think they're swimming to land and they're swimming north or south and not really east.
Because they
can't see it. You can't see it after a couple 3 miles. You can't see what land is, especially if you're 3 inches above water.
So when you fall in, and at say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
keep the sun behind you.
Oh, is that how it is? Keep the sun behind you, right?
Yeah, I mean it sets in the west.
See, I wouldn't even know how to think. I wouldn't even know that, would you?
No. Yeah, and I would
be freaking out. Like, man, just get sun behind me. I need a rescue.
My Vasco da Gama.
I know if I was 5 or 6 miles out.
What was that again?
My Vasco da Gama. Sorry.
So
if I was 5 or 6 miles out and I had nothing to float on, I would absolutely try to swim.
You got nothing to lose.
But then again, you might be swimming the wrong way.
Yeah, hopefully I can see the sun. The other thing, remember there was.
So if you can see the sun, you can determine where the sun is, right?
Right.
And if the sun's directly overhead, then you're like, you know what? I better head east of that sun, right? Mm-hmm. And if the sun is, there would probably be any instances where it would be like to your far left, right? If it was to your far left, then that's still
you're swimming in the wrong direction, because especially in the wintertime, because it's more south.
But you need to swim
with it back to the right.
If you fell off in the morning, you would
swim towards the sun.
Swim if you fell off at 9 in the morning, you would swim to the sun.
Right.
Right. Now there comes a point now where the sun switches and you got to switch directions.
Yeah, it rises in the east and it sets in the west.
So what I'm saying is okay, I'm swimming to the sun. Now the sun's directly over me, right? Oh, yeah, so I need to keep swimming away from the sun, right? Away from the sun at that point. Once it's past, it goes from swimming to the sun to swimming away from the sun.
Depends on what coast you're on.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about out here in the Gulf.
Yeah, in the Gulf. In our coast.
Gotcha.
One that would be applicable to our deal.
Understood.
So you swim to the sun until it's overhead, and then swim away from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Or just hope that you have somebody's out there, somebody is, but people wouldn't know. Let's say you told, Ashley, hey, Ashley, after the show, me and Big Red are going fishing, which wouldn't be uncommon.
Right.
No.
And so you guys go fishing. You get out there about, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're fishing, and you have a catastrophic, thing at 1:30. Well, I mean, Ashley and not a fan, they're not going to start getting worried until about 6 or 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Right? They're not even going to ask any questions. They know you guys are out there, hooking them, pulling them in, big grouper fishing. Nobody's going to start to even worry about you two experienced fishermen until about nightfall.
Yeah.
And if they've not heard from you by nightfall, then potentially they could start, asking, calling agencies and the Coast Guard and what have you. But that means you could be out there for 5 or 6 hours, right?
Well, that's what happened with, if you remember, I think it was 2009 with Nick Schuyler and the other 3 guys.
Oh, from USF?
Yeah, Will Bleakley, that they were out there fishing, and then when their boat capsized, no one called until like really late that night, which is why only one survived, which they found him like 3 days later.
Now, wasn't there some kind of urban legend, like there's some scandal, like there might be a scandal involved in that, and that he may have killed one of the guys to survive? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, that was one of the families said that one of the players was too strong to take his own life, and that they think he killed him. That's what the family said, because he said his story was they were out there for a day or two and they started freaking out and they just started swimming away from each other, and they thought they could swim to shore and they drowned.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the 3.
There's 4 of them and 3 died. Only one. Nick's the only one that survived.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprised it's not a movie by now.
They were supposed to make a movie. The Rock actually signed on, and then The Rock got too busy.
Was The Rock going to be the guy that survived?
Yep.
Of course he was. I mean, Rock ain't the guy that goes first, right?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, man, you just walk out of the movie theater like The Rock's gone already. I mean, these 3 other jabrones, I don't know who they are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say like Matthew McConaughey, The Rock, not Kevin Hart. It was one of the guys black.
2 African Americans.
then I guess
Yeah, but they were football players, though, weren't they? They weren't Kevin Hart size. They were Ty J size.
Just put Michael Strahan in there.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe
Jerry Rice.
Dion. Put Dion out there.
Dion out there.
Yeah, but Dion would be making it. He'd be like, he'd be praying so hard, the Lord just come get Dion.
Yeah.
Pick him right out of the sky. Boom. Oh, Lord Jesus, man. Plus my feet's messed up. I can't flip like I need to. And Michael Strahan's getting ahead of me a little bit. And The Rock, he already bit the dust. The Rock is so over, is he not?
Yes, he is.
I mean, and talk about the most brilliant thing ever. Yeah, him and the USFL and the XFL merging to create the UFL, the United Football League. So you don't have these 2 fledgling spring. Each league was pretty good, but they weren't filling stadiums and stuff.
No, not
but
at all.
They were half filling them, and because there were 2 leagues that were trying to do spring ball, the XFL and the USFL, and so they merged them. And they're going to be, it's like, I really think that they got ESPN and ABC. I mean, they got Fox. They got the television distribution.
Do you think this is a play just to make them as farm teams, or do you think this is a play like the AFC or like the ABA?
No.
Remember the American Basketball Association?
This is a play to make them a feeder farm system into the NFL. This is not made to compete against the NFL. No. This is completely. The NFL is actually behind a lot of it. They're helping. So this is going to be a feeder, program into the NFL. And Lummy, I think there were some guys this year in the NFL from XFL and USFL rosters that made the league this year.
Yeah, there
were. So that's even before they organized, even before they organized into one. They were already feeding into various teams. Teams had these players on their roster. So I think it's brilliant. I think they got 16 teams.
No, it's
8 teams.
Was it 6, Red?
It's 8.
8 teams.
3 Texas teams.
Yeah,
so don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird where they put the teams. 3 in Texas.
Where are the teams?
Arlington,
which is Dallas.
Birmingham, Alabama, DC.
Washington, D.C.
Houston,
Texas.
Memphis,
Michigan.
San Antonio.
And St. Louis.
This is the XFL?
They don't have
the UFL, the United Football League.
They don't have they need a California and a Florida presence.
Yeah, that's what's weird about
and
it.
a New York presence.
Yeah.
You would think.
Even New Jersey.
I mean, Orlando needs.
They're trying to get to markets, I think, that don't normally have teams, except for Texas.
Orlando.
Texas, yeah.
Orlando would be perfect, right?
Yeah.
You're just really missing the boat on not having a team in Florida.
Yeah, not having a team in Florida, not having a team in New York, and not having a team in
football
California.
in Florida, and you don't want a stadium full of people. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Let me, when I return, we're going to talk about the New Hampshire primary.
Awesome.
It's going down today, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's going down today. Nora O'Donnell, man, she doesn't look so good there, does she?
She does.
She's mixed sometimes. She looks beautiful, and sometimes she looks like she just had a hard weekend.
Yeah.
She had a hard weekend, all right?
Yeah, she did. And I'm reporting on the New Hampshire primary in itself as a hard weekend, right?
Yeah. She's worried about that Newport band or the menthol band.
Yeah. Hey, nobody knew that, man. Here's what I don't understand. Democrats, you're so stupid that you're going to come up with a menthol cigarette ban and a large portion of your voting base. I guarantee you there's more Democrats that smoke menthol cigarettes than Republicans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would bet a lot of money on that.
I would bet almost 2-1.
Yeah.
That the menthol cigarette person is more likely to be Democrat than Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to make a law that makes smoking menthol cigarettes illegal? Do you know how many addicts? You know what you're going to do is you're going to make the cigarette cartel. There'll be a cigarette menthol cartel, right? Because you just can't tell, a 20 and 30 year menthol smoker that he has to smoke a different cigarette.
Mm-mm.
Everybody's brand loyal. We all are, from Heinz ketchup to
Q-tips.
Q-tips.
Not cotton swabs. Get those away from me.
No, get me brand-made Q-tips.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise the stick bends.
Yep.
Otherwise, they
So
bend and they're cheaply
the cotton
made.
rubs off, and then you stab yourself in the ear.
Especially
with a
don't
stick.
buy them when you have the little blue.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, the blue
Plastic.
stick, the
Yep.
blue plastic. Get that out of my face immediately. So anyway, man, you Democrats, hey, let's come up with a new law. Even though a large percentage of our African-American base smoke menthol, Newports, or Salems, or Cools, and make it illegal. Now, these are addicts. People that are addicted to cigarettes are addicted to their brand of cigarettes.
Sure. Definitely, 100%.
And those addicts can still vote.
And they don't go off brand.
Mm-mm.
If you're this guy, you're a that, and you're not a. If you are a Newport menthol smoker, and they make menthol illegal, you're not gonna go become a Marlboro Light smoker.
Mm-mm. You're gonna be a mad voter.
You're gonna be a mad menthol. The mad menthol lobby is gonna get Trump in. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the New Hampshire primary. Now, is Trump on the ticket here?
Yes.
think so.
Yeah, Trump and Haley.
But Biden's not.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is it's such effery
I know.
and nonsense. It really is, the whole political racket. And what's going to happen here in the next 2 or 3 months when the Democrats say, "Hey, listen, our guy is every day I'm
barely
shuffling."
Yeah, he's not even waking up.
Like with as much press and as much coverage as the Republican Party is getting right now. Because, I mean, there's primary after primary after primary, and there's Nikki Haley and Donald Trump and whoever's left in the...
That's it.
That's it. Fighting it out here. Who's going to be the candidate? One of them or both of them are on TV every day, at least promoting one thing they have in common, the brand, GOP. Meanwhile, your president... Usually when the president is of one party and he's got, the other party that's going against him in November, that president, whether it's Barack Obama or George W. Bush or whoever, Bill Clinton, they use the fact that they're the president and they can travel anywhere they want to counteract all the media that the GOP's getting. So the GOP's getting media every day, right? Because of the primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're the sitting president, you're like, listen, I have so many tools to at my disposal that I'm going to be doing a press conference every day. I'm going to be flying around to these states as well, just to be seen. Our president. So, the two Republicans are battling it out. Bill Clinton would be flying all over America having just as many press conferences as...
Banging underage girls.
Well...
Oh, sorry.
Maybe that. But this president, he's sending out his VP to counteract all the press that the GOP is getting.
Oh, yeah.
Man, if you're the president, man, you got that big-ass plane, you get full jet escort, you get, Secret Service everywhere you're going. It's a big dog and pony show, and every form of the press is going to cover every press conference that you do. Joe Biden should be in New Hampshire right now with the rest of the bozos, kind of mildly campaigning, but instead
he's moving his pants, eating oatmeal,
and telling you what he's doing right. But that's the problem, is the fact that he can't go physically, he can't travel that much, and then secondly, he can't get on there and say, he can't give me a long laundry list of things that are going so swellsville right now. Hi, I'm President Biden. I'm able-bodied. I was able to get here today. I look spry. I didn't fall across the stage to get here. I look pretty rugged and everything. And let me tell you about my immigration system. It's dialed in. Interest rates are at an all-time low. The economy's booming right now. We're really getting after it. There's no uncertainty in the Middle East. There's just, Ukraine, that's all buttoned up. Everything's great. Nothing to look at here, buddy. But I'm going to be your man in November.
Yeah. He doesn't have the record to stand on. He doesn't have the strength to stand.
I don't even know that he could spew out what I just said.
No, not at all. It's funny because there's a lot of things that you can fake, but mental fitness isn't one of them. So that's why he's struggling so much. You can't fake when you're cognitively impaired.
You can't fake. You can't fake when you're up, right?
Yep.
Now, I have to say something here. I have to correct myself.
Okay.
Although I do believe that Joe Biden is beyond the point of return, I don't think he's competent to be president. We can see that he doesn't have the physical stamina to participate in the election campaign, marathon that's supposed to be in front of him for the next 9 months. But I said that Fetterman was brain dead, and that guy can actually start talking now. He is recovering from his stroke. I can't believe it.
And he's making some points.
And making some sense.
Yeah.
I still appall him. I still think he
at the process.
I hate everything about him, from his stupid outfits to what his policies in the past have stood for. I just can't believe that he can actually string 5, 6, 7 words together and make some sentences that make sense.
And so what you're saying is you were a critic of his, but you're an honest guy, and he's made some leaps and bounds in his cognitive skills, and he's actually not doing too bad with regards to that aspect. You may not agree.
Bingo.
You may not agree on his policy, but his delivery mechanism has gotten far better.
He can speak.
Yeah.
He couldn't speak a year ago. It was unbelievable. Or 2 years ago. It was unbelievable. He literally could not put two sentences together.
That's a mid 40 to 50-year-old man
after a stroke.
Right. Now, when you got a guy that's 81?
Yes.
81, and he hasn't had a stroke per se, but he's 81. Your father at 81 started slowing down.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And there was a quick deterioration. And there was nothing. Here you are a doctor. Here he is a doctor. There's nothing you can do. Medicine. There's nothing that you can do. There's no surgery. There's no cognitive skill test. There's no therapy that can reverse once the body starts going.
Can maybe slow down the acceleration of the condition, but you can't really reverse it.
Right, you really can't.
But people get better after a stroke sometimes.
Yeah.
If they're young enough.
If you're young enough. But when you're 81, bitch, and slow, you're not. There's
no U-turn.
There's no place that says, hey, send your 81-year-old grandma to this place, and by the time she gets done working out at, this brain cognitive skill place, she's going to be sharp. Take 20 years off of her life. She'll be rolling around here like she's 60. Remember when grandma was 60 and she could still get up and, cook and clean and have sex with grandpa and give speeches and was present? Well, there's no fountain of youth. There's nothing that can change the process of old age. You
got to do the work when you're decades younger, not when starting in your 80s.
Yeah, once you're that far, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we got, man. He's pooping his pants. He doesn't even have just somebody. I can't believe nobody's coming. Joe, you got to get on the plane. You've got to go out and counter campaign against these two. You've got to be in the same state that they are. You've got to be having big rallies telling people how well you're doing.
I don't think you can do it.
Why would they tell him that? They're trying to protect him, and the only way you can protect him is to kind of hide him.
Right, which is the problem.
Oh, I know it's a problem. I'm just saying that his team
you
is
guys
there
are
to
gonna
protect
get your
him.
ass kicked. If this is like somebody has got to make a major decision fast because you can't go with this guy as your candidate, and the grains and the sands of the hourglass are continuing to fall, and it's getting more critical time wise that you put up somebody that America could potentially vote for because they can't vote for Democratic or Republican. They can't vote for Joe Biden. Now, listen, I'm not saying that you want to vote for Donald Trump either. I'm not saying that either. But I'm just saying, Joe Biden is a shell of a human being who I do not feel comfortable with being my president, the leader of the free world, the guy that has access to the football, so to speak, and can create a nuclear war. I mean, I don't know if this guy needs to have that much responsibility. He can barely get out and pick up his socks in the morning. I mean, he could barely, color match his outfit.
And he'll be lucky if he gets a third place finish in his New Hampshire primary because he's only going to be a write-in candidate, and he's got to deal with Jason Palmer and what's that lady's? Dean Phillips, Marianne Williamson.
These are candidates. These are candidates
that are actually on the ballot
on the Democratic primary ballot in New Hampshire. Here are your candidates.
Right, Dean Phillips, Marianne Williamson, who's that crazy author.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a really fun name here.
D's nuts.
President R. Body of Atlanta, Georgia.
What?
Yep. President R. Body is his name.
So the Democrats need to have a skull and bones, super official, super quick meeting.
Tap in, tap out.
Yeah, so that we bring in Newsom or Michelle Obama.
They're going
or
to.
somebody.
Yeah, they have to.
But hold on. Would you not agree that it's getting to a critical point? You start getting into February, and you're 9 months out.
Oh, I think it's going to be in August.
They'll go wait till summertime.
Yeah.
Really?
Because then
they don't have a primary.
You don't want a lot of time to get dirt on that person, whoever they bring in next.
Well, whoever they bring in is going to be somebody that we certainly know. It's gonna
Absolutely.
It's one or two.
Household name.
It's one or two people.
Yep, I know what you're going to say. I agree with you.
It's Michelle Obama.
Yep.
Or it's Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
Or
Oprah?
Oprah?
No, I don't think that.
Yeah, I absolutely think she could throw off a last minute.
I don't think she wants to get involved.
No, she didn't want to be the president.
That bitch is billionaire. She's having a great time.
Yeah, who wants,
losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight.
Yeah, exactly. Telling Stedman to do whatever.
And so what's going to happen, Bubba, is at the Democratic National Convention. That's what will happen. This will happen at the convention. They're going to have a controversy on the first set of votes, and then they're going to go to the second or third ballot where anyone can throw their hat in the ring, and that's how they're going to pick the next presidential candidate.
Michelle Obama.
I think so too.
I think
and she's going to be difficult to beat.
Michelle Obama,
because they love Obama, and she's Obama. They remind her of him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into the GOP portion of this New Hampshire primary, courtesy of Nora O'Donnell. Next.
Whatever.
Everybody be cool. You be cool.
All the lawsuits in the world can't silence it. More of the Bubba the Love Sponge show after these words.
Which one did I mess with?
This one last time. I think I re-injured it.
Oh, you did something.
Yeah, it's sensitive.
Yeah, you got a little something in there. It's the beginning of the cauliflower.
Yeah, I'm gonna get head.
It starts with one small piece of cauliflower. It becomes one giant. Get your head here.
KJJPY 32 months. Let's hope so, Gary, for Marcosa. sound too bad. Double X Gaming.
Let me, is our printer working?
Yes. Double X Gaming. I just said good morning, Double X Gaming.
Oh.
And then I heard your little
Heater. These shakes get me cold.
just a little brain freeze.
Is that big louder?
Keyboard Davis. What did you say, Redneck? Awesome. Can't wait.
What's up, Shredder?
Did you see where the press secretary kind of attacked, what's his name from Fox?
What?
The other guy that always asked those questions, really good questions.
Who attacked him?
The press secretary. She was like really verbally going at him.
She wasn't using appropriate English either.
No, she was not. It's a mess up.
She's like, these Republicans is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that exchange.
She's like, who's your president? Like,
She goes, what?
She was just like really, she was saying he wasn't like fair with his questions. But yeah, she was not using proper English.
She's an idiot. I can't believe she's press secretary. I agree, Mike. World War III. It's ramping up. World War II did not happen overnight. It took about 6 months to a year for it to become a world war. World War I did happen overnight. But Germany was doing what Russia's doing now. Beginning of World War I, too. They just started taking stuff they thought was theirs.
So did he?
So Hogan stretches out. I know. So look, I'm not. I have to read that. There's got to be a reason. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. Unity. They have an opinion. They have a policy. They have a soul. She's circumcised.
following presentation has been closed captioned.
Great visual. I may try that.
Welcome to the revolution.
It's a remarkable achievement.
His perception becomes your reality.
Check this out.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
Bubba's fending off trolls, trying to make pay with 199s and Twitch hype trains. Wish he could get out of here, enjoy the track that he grades. Maybe go back home with Larry Plummer he'd play. It's a damn shame what his world's come to, with IRS dead and Mark over 2. Radio stations are bust, shadow banned on YouTube. But that's the biz that he's in. But he's got a new girl with the aha codes. His rich friend had to gift them. Lord knows that Danny just wants to help Bubba along. They like to call him a dick, but they'll call him right quick when they get in that jam. That's when they always call him Dr. Danny's the man. He's your friend till the end. Bubba's best friend is a rich man.
Love that. Don't forget all next week. I'll be out and Anna will be the host. You guys have an Anna overriding system.
Yes, we do.
You just got to. I've just been informed that we have a sound effect for that, Lummy.
Yes, we do.
So if you want to override, you'd be like, Macho, hit the sounder.
And they're override.
So we do have an. They say Anna. I don't, should have been a different. It's Anna, but maybe we couldn't get the AI to generate Anna over Anna.
No, our English guy, I guess, couldn't do that.
And they're override.
Jay's here.
Close enough.
Oh, Jay's here. Perfect. Hi, Jay.
Good morning. Infinite intelligence doesn't recognize the word Anna.
Now, is Jay suited up too for today's big?
No, he's cash.
No.
Why now? Why did you?
Because he did his stuff.
Oh, this is your part now.
Danny's
okay.
What, Danny's social media?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen all my stuff?
No,
I had one that went 68,000 in 24
but
hours.
I thought maybe you guys were doing like a joint deal today.
We will eventually.
That's what I was assuming because you guys
for sure.
But this is Dan on his own, so
we need to highlight him first, of course.
Right, we need to build him up.
First, we feed his ego, and then we'll do stuff together.
What stage is this? Feeding the ego?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So let's begin with CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns, who has been out
she's cute.
speaking with voters.
She looks good today.
No, Caitlin Huey-Burns.
is campaigning.
Yeah, Anna knows my thinking. I automatically.
No, I've seen her before. She's really cute, and you'd like her too.
And Anna knows that if it's a hot little reporter bitch, that she's gonna let me know about it.
She's not really hot. She's really pretty.
She's what?
She's really pretty,
Okay.
like a
Her
pretty girl.
political life depends on it.
Big win!
With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis now out of the race.
Out, and you're out, buddy. Let me and listen. I'm not trying to get not too particular, but you did it to yourself.
Yep.
You did it to yourself because your first term money, straight great.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, you start going in and pulling state attorneys that are elected officials.
Mm-hmm.
You start, screwing with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
You start, just making some
Screwing with doctors and lawyers and drivers and insured. The insured in Florida.
tweaking, clamping down on the abortion deal. Practically,
That's the big one. That's the big one. The 6-week thing is really the big one.
That killed him.
So listen, I mean, people should look at statistically when he first entered the race, he was way up there.
Before he entered the race. He actually was ahead before he entered the race, and his problem, I believe, is he allowed Donald Trump, who's the best brander in the world, to brand him as DeSanctimonious for 3 or 4 months before he actually threw his hat in the ring. And I don't know what the strategy was behind that other than maybe not alienating Trump and the whole Republican Party by attacking him for that long of a period of time. But everyone has done really calculated attacks.
Yeah, but he destroyed himself within. He got too right too fast.
Well, while he was not campaigning, he was doing all the stuff in Florida that you talked about.
Right.
He was doing the Disney fight and taking away
Andrew
elected
Warren
officials,
deal.
And he was fighting over, whatever.
By the way, Andrew Warren
book
just
bans.
won an appeal in the Florida Supreme Court. I think they're going to rehear. I think that thing's not done. I think he won an appeal.
He did win something, but it may just be
fodder at this point.
I think the governor in the state of Florida has the authority to remove somebody like that, like he did the sheriff from the shooting down south.
Mm-hmm.
He was removed by Governor DeSantis. One of the first things he did, and there was no second chance for that guy.
But that was based on
failure to act.
Failure to act
rather than First Amendment.
Yeah, that's based on an actual situation that happened that he handled very incorrectly on his watch. And so when Andrew Warren just basically co-signed on an email with other state attorneys from other parts. In fact, you know what? It would be interesting to see is how many other state attorneys on that particular email got removed from office.
Well, they're going to argue
I think
it
he
didn't
just took
have
out one
anything-
other person. I think he only removed one other state attorney.
Two people in the state of Florida, but it'll be interesting to see if they try to argue that the reason they did that was more for an actual reason than because of his free speech, for him failing to prosecute certain types of crimes, because he's one of those, they allege he's one of those Soros types prosecutors that these two people were not prosecuting within their own community. So that's different than, that's similar to what the police officer, the sheriff.
But here's the deal. Andrew Warren, there was no examples of him doing what he said he potentially would do in this email. There was no cases.
I agree with that.
There were no cases of girls that actually did what this potential email proposed, and that is if a person in your state, violated the abortion law,
right,
would you prosecute? And these state attorneys all speculated as to whether they would or wouldn't, but none of them actually had one of those particular cases in front of them, and they didn't rule one way or the other because none of them were presented with that issue. So your opinion on an issue compared to acting on an issue,
failing to act, which resulted in multiple deaths.
Right. But there was none of that.
You're right.
I don't understand how.
Valid point, Bubba.
I don't understand how you have any legal standing to remove me. Now, listen, I wasn't appointed by you. I don't serve at your pleasure. I am an elected official by the constituents of my community, and I'm a 2-term state attorney. And because I don't align politically with you, and especially this abortion deal. And I was part of a chain of emails with other state attorneys from other parts of the country saying, I don't know that I would necessarily arrest a girl that violated the abortion deal. Now, there were no girls that did, but he just said in his own opinion, he didn't know what he would potentially do. That gets you removed? I mean, does that not make the president look like he's inferior? He's godlike? Almost like Hitler?
Well, I think that your argument is presented about as well as I could present it as an attorney. It was perfectly presented, and I'm sure that's what they're arguing.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
And then I
now.
would have just added a few First Amendment kickers in there the whole way through.
Right.
Because that's what the argument is, that he's just expressing his First Amendment opinions that have had zero effect on the way he's actually governed, and that as an elected official, he can express his personal opinions and enjoy his First Amendment rights as a private citizen, just like he does as a public official, and that as long as his opinions as a private citizen do not affect his duties as a public official, it's cool.
Let me give you an example. I know Grady Judd real well. I have Grady Judd's personal cell phone number. I know Grady Judd well. We're friends. And Grady Judd does not like medical marijuana. Grady Judd, does not like medical marijuana at all. But there are medical marijuana dispensaries in Polk County because Grady said, listen, although I don't like the law and I think it should be illegal, I have to recognize the state statute, and I will not prosecute anybody that is participating in medical marijuana legally.
That's a perfect example, because that's another one where you stand on your morals.
Right.
Morally, he's against the use of marijuana in any form.
Right.
And yet he won't allow his moral opinions affect his governing.
You don't see legal Florida-sanctioned dispensaries getting busted and shut down in Polk County like you would think, right? Because Grady don't play. Grady don't play. But no,
But he abides by the law.
But he abides by a law, and he's not condemned, or he's not removed from office, or he's not screwed with based on his personal opinion. Because he'll tell you right now, man, if I had it my way, I would shutter every one of these. We'd have a 1-day roundup, and they'd all be in jail.
Now, wouldn't you be curious to see whether or not he was one of those prosecutors? And if you look statistically at the years he was in office, if he didn't prosecute the crimes that they've allegedly not prosecuted.
No, there was no example. There was no
I didn't hear
examples.
examples.
There was no examples.
I
They had
supported
no-
him. He's my friend. And so these questions I think are very interesting both sides. I really would like to see how this thing plays out.
I tell you, I like to see how it played out. I'd like to see him get his job back. And
Same here.
I'd like
Yep.
for the governor to be censored if there's such a thing, or at least put on
He just got censored.
put on notice.
He did.
Put on notice that you really were way above your authority.
Mm-hmm.
Abusive authority and
overreaching.
Yeah, and you know what? Andrew Warren's got real damages.
Yep, he sure does.
He's got
reputation,
he's got
money,
real damages.
Yep.
Real damages.
He's got immunity though.
And DeSantis is now just coming to the realization that he's not on the world stage anymore.
No.
He's not on the national
He's not even that
stage
good.
anymore. He just needs to spend his last 3 years really focusing on Florida and
That's
trying
right.
to keep his state a great
And
state.
then try to figure out what he's going to do next move because he's too young to wrap it up.
He needs to figure out who his replacement is here, and it should be Byron Douglas.
Yeah, he's good. Shady Grady 20 on the cash
Hold
app.
on here.
Instead of throwing his support behind Donald Trump, Haley is scrambling to make up.
Doesn't that just show you how dirty politics are? They were just fighting it out just 2 weeks ago.
That
How
happens
much
all
they
the time.
hate
Or
each other.
transparent. It's what we've been watching for years.
Deficit in the polls.
I have watched the political class line up
Nikki Haley, by the way.
with Donald Trump. America doesn't do coronations.
At every stop today, Haley hoped to sway an undecided voter. And for one independent we spoke with, it worked.
Okay, let's see what this old bag's got to say.
So you came in here undecided. Correct. And after meeting her, did you make up your mind?
I did. Definitely voting for Nikki Haley. And
So you made up your mind right here in this booth after meeting her and asking her questions.
Correct.
That is the New Hampshire way.
Our independent
New Hampshire GOP Chairman Chris Agers says independent voters don't.
Yeah. I don't think I'd go out and vote in New Hampshire if this is what I had to go through. Look at this. That small little ass
That's
church.
not voter suppression either.
That sucks.
And it's New Hampshire.
All think alike.
Well, independent voters, I believe, will break both for Trump and, I'd say, against Trump, which is really a Nikki Haley vote.
What do you think people misunderstand?
Ew. I don't think she's cute at all, Anna. No. Yucko. Standard blonde.
Understand about independent voters here?
It's that swing vote that's relatively small that can make a huge difference.
Trump is campaigning here after a detour to New York, where the E. Jean Carroll defamation trial was delayed when a juror fell sick. And he's increasingly confident the nomination could be wrapped up by tomorrow.
Maybe she'll drop out on Tuesday. Let's see what happens.
Independent voter Kevin
Now, I don't think there's any way he would put her as vice. No way.
No.
Like she's going to be collateral damage. But what's that, Victor?
Vivek?
No,
Ramaswamy?
Ramaswamy?
Can you see the bumper stickers now? Trump Ramaswamy?
No.
That's not happening.
But I like it.
I do. I love the guy. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a political, superstar in the future, and I think he's got a lot of presence, and he's going to be a
How about
huge
Tim
advocate.
Scott?
I think Tim Scott's a huge potential.
He just got engaged.
Some
people say that's why he got engaged, to become vice president.
There you go.
And you can see him standing in the presidency's shoes if necessary.
Yeah, and he's got
Nikki Haley, for me, I always thought she was a potential until Ramaswamy leveled her on that debate stage, and she looked like a deer in the headlights.
You know
And
what
from
else did
that
that to
point
her?
forward, I don't see her as presidential anymore.
Someone else handed her ass last night. It was a veteran that said to her, "Don't you think that since you're so far behind,
I
you
saw
know who's
that.
going to win? You're just wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on a campaign that's going nowhere when you could be donating it to causes such as homeless veterans." And she had
Pierre
no
is
response.
holding out hope for Haley.
Anybody but Trump.
But he hasn't been able to persuade.
And again, anybody but Trump. I get it. And I understand that that's a large portion of the GOP. But, I mean,
Well,
At the
independents
end
can
of
vote in the primary there, which is a big difference than here. And so the independent vote can sway what the primary vote looks like.
So what I'm saying is this. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be, you got two options. You got Nikki Haley and you got Donald Trump. That's what it's looking like, right? Everybody else is falling out.
Mm-hmm.
Christie out. DeSantis out. Ramaswamy out. Tim Scott out.
Yep.
It's Trump.
Asa Hutchinson.
Everyone endorsed.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. You may not like Donald Trump, but you might need. I think we kind of need the bull in a china shop mentality for 4 years because immigration is absolutely out of control.
It's disgusting.
Inflation is out of control. Housing, interest rates are out of control. I mean, they're trying to ban the Democrats are trying to ban methanol. I'm sorry, menthol cigarettes.
Ciggies.
I mean, come on now.
He's kind of like
the
Dan.
96,000.
He's a D until you need him.
No.
Trump.
Who, Trump?
Yeah. He's a D until you need him.
Friend and neighbor Doug Krause.
I think he's an honest guy, and what he says, he did.
I think we love each other. So it's just, I just laugh because when he says he's an honest guy, which I.
So the big guy is a Trump, and the other guy is not a Trump. But I like that they can have these two dudes can still be buddies and have that conversation
and have a Coors Light together.
And that's why this is really what we all need to be doing. We all need to be having conversations, and if your candidate isn't the one that you're arguing with your buddy, it doesn't mean you don't like your buddy anymore. It's just a friendly competition. But we are so not in that mindset anymore. We completely cancel the other person. We cannot be friends with the other people.
I love these two dudes.
I do too. These two dudes need a talk show.
I think there was some stat, after the 2020 election, that 1 in 6 people stopped talking to a family member because of politics.
I believe that.
It's insane
I think it may have
number.
been even more. It was craziness.
And then a New Hampshire Secretary of State is projecting record turnout in the Republican presidential primary, expecting 37,000 more voters than in the last competitive GOP race in 2016. And rallies like the one behind me
So this is very germane probably to where the Nikki Haley campaign goes. If she's super competitive, and I would say within 10 points, which is really quite liberal thinking as far as, most people
Having
that were
a
10.
chance.
Yeah, but if she's within 10, I could see every reason why she sticks around. If she gets whipped by 25 plus, get out. Get out and let's start realizing who your candidate's going to be, even though you don't like it.
Well, here's the thing: is there's I think 3 or 4 weeks until South Carolina, which is her state. Both senators have endorsed Trump. The current governor, McMaster, has endorsed Trump. The president of the Senate, the president of the Congress of South Carolina has endorsed Trump. If she goes and she loses her own state and she gets her rear end handed to her, that's not going to be good for her political future. If she's smart, like DeSantis was smart in the sense he didn't go to Florida and get his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she's got 3, and this 3 weeks is a super expensive 3 weeks where Donald Trump could put you in the target.
Hold on now. So she is, she's going to stay in the game to at least find out what the temperature is of her state.
She's getting smoked right now.
Not right?
Yeah. I think if she gets her ass handed tonight, she's done.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think she even goes to her state?
I think tomorrow's the last day we'll be talking about her.
If he gets 51% and she loses by more than 10%, like you said, if she gets 10% and he gets like 43 or 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we got a race in our hands.
He's
47 and
47 and she's 38, 39, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, then we got a race.
Now
I don't think it's going to happen.
Now we're going to South Carolina, and then that's going to be the tell-all because if if she doesn't win South Carolina, or at least or at least a dead tie or 4, maybe 2 or 3 point, getting beat, but it's super close. Well, then, if she gets her ass handed to her in South Carolina, her home state, then
her political future's over then. Because she didn't know, she wasn't smart enough to align with the party, because part of this is aligning with the party at a time when Donald Trump can focus on Biden instead of focusing on each other. And so when is she going to do what's right for the party?
You can focus on Biden all you want. Biden ain't going to be the guy you're fighting against.
Well, and they're sending
whatever
out
the other
Kamala,
side
in November.
who's terrible.
You might be thinking rocking Donnie Trump might think that he's going to be fighting Joe Biden, but the crazy ass Democrats are going to throw in a last minute whodunit. You know that.
And that's the reason they also don't want to primary the Democrats, because they want to be able to throw in someone last
minute whodunit.
Yeah.
Aimed at turning out every last vote. Nora?
Yeah, Caitlin, while the Republicans are expecting record turnout, what about the Democrats? Because President Biden...
Democrats are eating oatmeal and crapping their pants.
...is not on the ballot tomorrow. Explain.
Man, have we ever lived in a world where the former president, who's now running to be the president, he got his ass, he got beat, and now he's rerunning. That in itself, I think, is very rare for a president to have gotten beat, and then I think Taft may have done it, or maybe Teddy Roosevelt did it, or somebody. I don't know. Somebody can give me the information.
Taft did it, yeah.
But
he didn't.
You know,
win,
you're the president, then you lose, and then you come back and win. So you're trying.
I think that's only happened with Grover Cleveland.
Yeah. So you're trying.
Where there was a split.
You're trying to do that. Now, while you're trying to do that, you've been indicted like 96 times. There's like 96 charges. Now, whether you agree with the charges or not, they are there. They do exist, right, Jay? He's got 96 indictments and a bitch ain't one.
And that's true, but he's already broken history. He's the first one who's not a general, a lawyer, or a senator that's been president. First election he won presidency. So the fact that this has never happened before or may have happened once before is really irrelevant when you look at statistics, because statistics don't apply to Donald. He continually breaks every statistical norm. So I think that he has a good chance of it, even if it is. Look, every Republican in the world is coming up with all the op-ed they can on Michelle Obama and Gavin Newsom, and every potential Democrat that could step in his place at the convention.
I know, but in our lifetime, when's the last time that the guy that was president is now rerunning because he lost the deal? Then and there's 96 Willies on top of him.
It's never happened.
He compares himself to
and the current president is old as dust. And his party, unbeknownst to him, is getting ready to be doing a big whodunit switch around at the convention, and he's going to be left there pooping his pants and not going to be the candidate. Like, I've never seen this much effery, and I want to say the word, but this much effery involved in as we're getting ready to elect our next president. One president is a former president, is the candidate with 96 charges and a bitch ain't one. The other dude's barely alive, and his son's shady as hell and has all types of financial dealings with China. And by the way, he's on trial too. So you got the former president on trial and the current president's kid on trial. So and it's just and the former president, the current president's kid might not even be a story by the time we vote, because his dad's not going to be the president.
No.
He won't. At least his dad may not be the candidate.
Interesting. You have one guy who embraces all the drama and says, "I've been indicted more than Al Capone," and you have another that's trying to hide from everything. So which one's going to work?
I don't know.
And these are the two different candidates and the two different approaches to their candidacy. And one is hide in the basement, and the the is,
and
I did it. I said it.
And all it does is polarize us and make us hate each other.
Although
we're so passionate about this that the Biden and the Democrats, they don't want to work with the Republicans, and the Republicans don't want to work with the Democrats, and it's just a big screw you fest. It's a big helicopter mom Karen. It's a bunch of soft. We're going to do all of our dirty work through the judicial system. It's just ridiculous. It's just a bunch of bitches. Drop all charges on Hunter, drop all charges on Trump, and let's fight it out like real men's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, listen, Donald, you probably didn't handle January 6th, very well. There's some people that are going to do some jail time on that deal. Okay, fine.
That's good.
Telling somebody I need 13,000 votes, he didn't say illegally go into the voter box and break the lock and change 13,000 ballots to vote for me. He just said, find me them. The way a leader would say, find me this or find me that. he didn't give any specifics. It was very much a word salad. Find me or get me. He didn't tell you by which means to get them.
There was 20 people on the phone with him.
And so,
he wasn't intending to.
And this goat rope of a deal, all 20 of those people are indicted, and they're all flipping on people and lawyer it up.
Right.
It's just a big absolute. It's almost like a South Park episode.
And then the prosecutor turns out to be sleeping with another one of the prosecutors, allegedly, and has been going on cruises and all these things, allegedly. It's like crazy.
And then you throw in Epstein Island with that
nuts.
deal. Jesus. What in the hell is going on with here?
How many times has Biden been to Epstein Island?
Oh, he wouldn't know what to do over there. There could be a girl with a neon sign that says, right here, Joe, and he wouldn't know what to do with it.
Hunter couldn't even make it on that list.
Ice cream.
Someone just spin him like a simpleton?
God, you guys are imbeciles.
Listen. More of the Bubba the Love Sponge show after these words.
I hope Andrew Warren's people are listening. That was the most articulate argument I've heard to have Andrew Warren back in office from anybody.
Well, we should get the air check, and from Lummy or Mach, and then email it to him.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, was on the air with Bubba today, and here's.
Be happy to do that.
Unbeknownst to me, here's what Bubba said.
I think today's going to be an ass-kicking on it.
For Haley?
No, against Haley.
I mean, that's what I mean, for Haley.
You know, a little bit of the morning posts where they show the people coming out, CNN and MSNBC are sitting there waiting on people to say, do you vote for Haley? And they're all like, yeah, I voted for Trump. It was like they couldn't get someone to say they voted for Haley. They didn't see one person.
Migrants are spending out in the cold.
And it's not just at the reticketing center in the East Village. Fox 5's Jessica Formosa shows us where else there.
Another day, migrants.
South Carolina is like 80-20 right now. I think that's when you just know. I mean, when your polls are coming by 80-20.
80-20. You should put it up, hang it up today.
That was like a week ago. So, with everyone else coming out.
Yeah. The South Carolina governor is so southern. My wife loves him. He came out and he said, "How you doing, y'all?"
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's on the
came out the last time the poll, but
Hey, Lummy.
Yes, Bubba.
Hit that air check for that.
I'm gonna go talk to him and grab it real quick.
Hey, Bob, it's okay if I go because it's already like 4:00.
What's your name? Oh, that's Dan talking? Yeah, you can go.
Okay. I have a busy day today.
No, go.
Okay.
You should have left last break.
This is the break.
Oh, okay.
This is the 9 o'clock break.
All right, buddy. I'll see you later.
Dan. Have a good day.
See you, Dan.
Bye, Danny.
Bye-bye. I found my old Special Forces shirt, Bubba.
Did you?
Oh, it looks snappy.
It is, yeah. He gave Danny one with 2 stars and me one with 3 stars just to see Dan's reaction.
Oh, really?
Danny flipped out. It was
When
hilarious.
was this?
15 years ago.
Oh,
10 years ago.
I've been
Easy.
fucking with y'all for...
Oh, our whole
I've been
life.
fucking them all ever since they've been on the air. I like to pit them. I love to pit them against each other.
I know.
That's been his shtick forever. How you doing, Grouper Lips? What up, buddy?
Ew. Is Corsica currently part of France? Right?
Is what is?
Corsica.
I think so. I'm not great
It's where
on.
Napoleon was born.
I'm not great on geography. What do you think of Millet or whatever his name is? Or is it
The
Argentina?
Argentinian
Yeah,
guy
we gotta go
with his
to.
hot fucking actress, comedian wife, or girlfriend. They've only been dating for 6 months, and she's like...
And he was like speeches. He's very charismatic, extremely. Because how could you get away with that hair?
They call him like the Argentinian Trump.
He is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dan. Okay. What? Okay, Hot Mic is on live radio, guys. Hot Mike is on live radio, Dan said.
Well, I
don't think we said anything, curse words or anything.
I don't have anything on.
Just normal conversation about the news. Nothing going on in here. I don't think it was anything salacious.
Because I used to go on Italy.
What up, Sicilian Redneck? Big Lumber.
That needs to be on their end.
Gary Cantrell. Huh?
You've been in Italy, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
See that part?
Where'd you go in Italy?
Oh, I went to Venice, Florence, Rome, and we drove all through, like, to get to those places.
Where's your family from, do you know?
Calabria and Abruzzi, and a quarter from Sicily. So I think we're half from Abruzzi, a quarter from Calabria.
I don't even know what that is. Abruzzi.
What up, Dr. God? Good morning.
Abruzzi. It's over.
Tampa Terry did come in clutch there. Was that true? Did you guys hear it out?
Is that
We weren't
Abruzzo?
doing anything.
Abruzzi. Okay.
Hey, was a hot mic? Was there some kind
What's
of
up, Mike?
malfunction with it? They were saying that the hot mic was on
They
the
said hot mic was on. Danny called me freaking out because he didn't want to say anyone to say anything. No one did, but he said he could hear hot mic on 820. And it said Tampa Terry just came in and said, "Good save, Dan."
We might want to look into that.
So let's keep it.
Terry's in Canada. I don't think he knows what's on 820.
Okay, maybe not.
Okay.
I would just say keep it rated G right now.
What's up?
Are you?
What, Brian Gilson? How you doing, buddy?
You just listen.
Abruzzo. Abruzzi.
Well, did that happen, Brett?
Macho says we're all good.
What is there not to like about the show? Bubba the Love Sponge.
Guys are awesome.
And I love the sponge.
The show's cool. It's real, man.
He makes me laugh my ass off every time I listen.
I'm a full truck of effect, man, so it gets me through the day all the time.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge.
I was gonna this next article. I was gonna try to have Dan in here because it's been hanging around for a couple days, and this guy's due to be executed in 2 days on the 25th, and he is a guy from Alabama that's been sentenced to death. And I think the first time they tried to put him, like lethal injection, they failed like 4 times.
Yeah.
like there was 4. Like they couldn't find the artery, or it blew out, or some kind of something happened where he didn't die through lethal injection. And they tried like 4 times, and then like the I don't know if the ACLU or somebody stepped in and said this is I don't know how a person that's been condemned to death can have very many rights left, but
it's a violation of the 8th Amendment. cruel and unusual punishment. Even if they're a murderer, they've killed 50 people, you have to treat them with a certain amount of dignity.
Right,
Which is why we don't use Sparky anymore. But somehow, for years, we were able to legally justify using Sparky, where we would just, put a metal thing on their head with a sponge that was wet, and that's what they called it, Sparky.
Yeah.
And they would just literally
fry
their eyeballs right out of their head.
When did we do that?
Sparky.
Clear up until
90s?
Yep, probably clear up
really?
until 15 years ago.
And that was different from obviously the electric chair.
No, that's what ours was nicknamed Sparky.
Yeah, it was an electric chair.
Oh, it was a chair.
But it literally they would put a wet sponge on their skull. They'd shave their head. They'd put this metal contraption on their head that was attached to it. They would do the same thing, I believe, with their hands and feet to create a circuit.
Yep.
And then they would just vrink. There would literally be a guy with a lever that would pull the lever. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They literally open curtains so that people can come witness it.
Yeah.
And the people witness it.
Sure.
And so we've had botched ones in Florida where the people's heads started going on fire. It's been insane. So that's cruel.
Pedro Medina. I think Manson came up with a song back in the Funky Cold Medina, and it was about Pedro Medina's fail. I think they tried once with Pedro Medina, and it didn't work, so they put more juice to him, and his whole head caught on fire.
Right.
He was a guy that we tried to kill. Pedro Medina might be very well the last electrocution.
It was barbaric.
That Florida had.
No, Lee Davis was in '99.
Lee Davis.
Thinking about it,
When
it
was
was
Ted Bundy
barbaric.
killed?
But it was used to have a chilling effect on it. In Florida, people had to really think about what's the end game going to be here. It's not hanging in prison with 10 life sentences like you get in California. You're going the old Sparky.
Well, anyway, this guy, Kenneth Eugene Smith, was in Alabama and is in Alabama, and the American Rights UN Human Rights Office, and everybody's all flipped out because they're like, okay, well, there's a shortage. The big pharma is like they're not super cool with you using their stuff that's used in other medical applications to execute people. So a lot of times, big pharma, it started happening about 5 or 6 years ago. Well, where big pharma would not give you the necessary TT99 stuff for these penitentiaries to be able to kill. They didn't want that liability. They didn't want that rap.
But
So
they'll
to
get free
speak.
burp for everyone there.
So there's a shortage of these drugs that'll put you to sleep or kill you at the end of the day. And so this Kenneth Eugene Smith was, like I don't know how long ago, was scheduled to be lethal.
It was in 2022 was the failed lethal injection attempt.
2 years ago. They're like, okay, we're going to do it this day. And for some whatever reason, the lethal injection concoction didn't work. He survived it. Well, now they're like, okay, we're going to come up with a different way. And they're going to come up with a nitrogen hypoxia.
Lack of oxygen.
And it's where they put like this fighter jet mask on you. They literally put this this industrial strength gas mask on you, and then they start turning the gas on, and it literally chokes you to death.
You suffocate.
It starves your body and your brain from oxygen.
And so they're getting ready to do that. And then now they're like, well, you can't do that. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
I think they're trying to pass it, right?
Yeah, they're trying to say that it was, that it's cruel and unusual because it's untested. And so then you got to ask, what is there? So the people arguing against it don't believe there's any way that you can use lethal force to kill somebody. And
right.
so you got to ask yourself, is it okay to put someone to sleep? I mean, I assume you first put them to sleep with an anesthetic, and then you put the mask on them. Is that suffering?
No.
I think the problem is because there'd be plenty of ways to do that. I think the issue, and I wish Dan was here to kind of verify, is that no big pharma company wants to put their name on a product that's being used to kill people. So they're not allowing it to be used for these purposes.
That's how woke we've become.
Because you can easily do that. Look, you put someone out, like surgery, and then you just stab them in the heart. They're asleep. They can't feel anything.
That's why we need to bring back the firing squad. Because we're not relying on
some states you can
big pharma. We're just relying on and so they put I think 7 or 9 guns all pointed at the guy in a very in the size of this room, and he would be up by the Hall of Fame and I think they have you all strapped in and stuff.
Yeah, you're in a chair.
And one out of the 9 guys or the 7 guys or the 6 shooters, they all got like these .308 Winchester, super badass guns, and they have a target put on the guy's heart, like a little paper target put on the guy's heart, and one guy out of the 7 or however many shooters there are, they give one guy a blank.
Oh, okay.
And so,
gotcha. I thought it was the reverse for some reason.
No.
You're right.
They give one guy, so you're getting hit with 6 bullets to the heart, which is unsurvivable. But you have the
plausible deniability.
Yeah.
You don't know if it was you.
Right. You're like, hey, I'm a shooter. This is my job. I'm a sniper for when we're killing people. But hey, I think I got the blank.
The expired shells look the same.
Why do they do that, Jay? Is it to protect the mental health of the people?
Yes. Right. So that the 6 or 7 guys, that each one of them has a plus. Like, listen, I had the blank.
Everyone believes that. That's what they all convince themselves of.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're there. They obviously want to kill this guy.
Yeah, I know, but that's just the rules on it. Like we can't make the new rules where now everybody gets bullets.
No, I understand why.
It's an old timer deal. It's an old timer deal where that's the rule.
Because there must have been some time in the past where everyone had a bullet and then some guy felt really bad about it and killed himself or something.
For sure. Right. There probably was a time where everybody had bullets and one guy really was upset about it and freaked out and went home and beat his wife and kicked the dog and burned the house down with the kids in it.
Yeah. Now that guy has the blank.
Yeah. So. Kenneth Eugene Smith would be the first person in the U.S. to be put to death using the nitrogen gas if the execution proceeds as scheduled January 25. Smith has been in prison in Alabama for decades since being convicted as being the hitman in a 1998 killing of a preacher's wife and already survived a failed execution attempt by lethal injection of November of 22. He was one of 4 botched lethal injections in Alabama. It sounds like they need to get a new guy to do this here in the last 4 years, which ultimately to the deaths of the condemned inmates after prolonged periods. So they're saying that there's 4 instances in Alabama where they tried to kill the person and the person didn't die in the execution chamber, but when they took them back to their cell, I think eventually they did die. I think that's what they're trying to say here. I don't know.
Well, it didn't go in the first attempt. They were botched in that sense. It didn't go as planned, and I think 3 of the 4 died. This guy did not.
It says because it's never been tested, even veterinarians have refused to use it when euthanizing animals. Many oppose the implementation in capital punishment settings and warn that the nitrogen hypoxia may potentially cause unnecessary pain and suffering. Well, I mean, sorry.
Make them go TC night.
Sorry that you're going to have a little bit of pain and suffering. I mean, how about that preacher's wife that you shot and killed?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. You know what? Being sentenced by your community to death is never going to be pretty on how they carry it out. Ever.
I'm trying to see the other methods that they can use in Alabama. Because I feel like each state has a few, right?
A federal judge on last Wednesday, ruled that Alabama could go ahead with the plans to put Smith to death using the nitrogen gas. Smith's attorneys had sought an injunction to stop the January 25th execution and accused the state of Alabama of trying to use him as a test subject for experimental methods. Smith's lawyers say he intended to appeal the decisions So right now it looks like it's full steam ahead on the gas
forward.
mask Willie in a couple days.
I sent you the methods of execution in Alabama.
Really?
I guess the primary method is lethal injection, which they're saying, I guess, didn't work for him. You scroll down a bit. I'm trying to see what else there is.
All right, so here we go.
Combination of drugs.
Execution. Methods of execution. This is within Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
On January 16th, Ohio tried an untested 2-drug mixture.
If you go up a little bit, you could see just more of a general, lethal injection.
Lethal injection is the primary method of execution used by the states and the federal government. States use a variety of protocols with 1, 2, or 3 drugs. The 1 and 2 drug protocols typically use a lethal dose of anesthetic and sedative. the 3-drug protocol uses that, usually followed by some type of bromine to paralyze the person and potassium chloride to stop the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds.
Them just in case one doesn't work.
Oh,
Nice.
Lethal injection and then firing
it doesn't
squad just
work.
in case, but as a backup Willie.
I don't think there's any hang-uns left, is there?
Not that I know of.
That's
I feel like it's allowed somewhere.
Like, does hanging kill you instantaneously?
Yeah,
If the
it
nut's
snaps
to the
your
side.
neck.
If the noose is to the side, it snaps your neck immediately, right?
Correct.
If
You
it's in
die.
the back or the front, then they just choke you out.
It's more difficult, correct?
Oof.
So like
What's
that
that,
was
Lemmy?
what they would do for really the really horrible people is the guy that would kill you would decide which way they were going to put that knot.
It looks like possibly the only one left in New Hampshire.
Is hanging?
Yes, it's a secondary.
And I'm thinking,
yeah.
I'm thinking medieval hangings. You know what I mean? Like those.
I'm
the
thinking, man,
hangman.
if I was to get hung, my house is fat and as heavy as I am.
You just
man, it's-
break the rope.
it would-
Bubba the Love Sponge? Hell yeah.
I love them all, man. They're all great.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
Was a funny guy.
I'd just be
There's
hanging
a
there.
hottie for you. Oh, you missed it. God damn it. Every time. Yeah.
You got that right. Every time you fall.
I took the last hanging there. It was 1996.
Woo! Wait, in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
That's fucking
That
wild.
seems pretty recent. That's my lifetime. That's crazy that they did hangings in the United States in
1996, that's my lifetime.
Yeah.
I was like a real person too. I was like 9. No, see, no, it's not. What did you do for Y2K?
I went to
Remember that
New
place?
Orleans and raged all night at the casinos.
Yeah, remember they
with
thought
Kirk
the
Carruthers.
computers
I
were gonna
did.
fucking
My
fail.
mom was all nervous that everything was gonna shut down, and so I called her. I'm like, we're at a nice hotel and everything's fine. And the truth is, I went with Pity and Kirk Carruthers to the floor of the casino and raged.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Right on. Yeah, I was in a bounce house.
Where was it about?
My fault.
Do you remember Y2K? How old were you?
Probably 15. You're 3 years older than me, right? You're gonna be 40 this year?
I was 14 or 15.
I mean, for all of us,
He was
Bubba,
15.
all of us that had businesses,
No,
that
I
were
was
like
15.
literally, we had to hire someone to come in and look at all our computers, make sure our computers weren't going to just like
Before.
shut down because that big fucking scam was like
Was I?
clocks aren't set correctly and everything's just going to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
was
was like,
sitting on my computer playing
stupid.
games. That's what I was
Once they
doing.
had the very first, you know, the thing is we're not the first New Year's of the year. It happens like Australia and shit.
Yeah.
So by the time it came to
You
us,
know,
we
so
already knew.
probably knew it was
I
gonna be.
mean, it was either going to happen there or it wasn't.
I guess New Zealand is the first on the day.
Right, so by the time it happened with us, I wasn't scared by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting on
You
my
were
computer.
15 because you were born in 84. You're about to turn 16. Because I was 12, gonna be 13. Because I had my bar mitzvah.
And I was watching the news, and I remember nothing happened on that first one. So I expect
Exactly. Once nothing happened in New Zealand, there was no issue.
Yeah.
But everyone paid their fucking tech guy $5,000 to snap up their computers for no reason.
Mm-hmm. What a letdown, man.
Not really. We were thrilled.
No, I mean, like, it was just like, oh, it's gonna be a fucking nightmare. And then it, like, nothing happened. And it's like,
Did you know what that turned into? A fucking hell of a party.
Mm-hmm. Until 9/11.
What's up, Permaground? That was a while later.
Yeah, I know. But, like, those are things I remember. You know, landmark things. Y2K, 9/11.
I remember Elvis's death. I remember Diana's
You
death.
do?
I do remember.
I remember
It was a big
Diana's
deal. There
death.
was 3 stations on at the time.
What was
When
it,
he died, they
95?
just fucking broadcast it for hours. It was just.
Was it Diana 95?
Diana was 95, I think.
I
was
remember
older.
watching that on the TV with my dad.
But they literally shut down all the televisions, and it just was all Elvis, nothing but Elvis for like
I was
hours.
in 77.
Yeah.
You were born in 70?
Yeah.
And you remember that?
I do remember it. It was a huge deal. I remember when.
OJ.
John Lennon was killed.
80.
Remember the OJ threat?
Of course, I remember that. I was in law school. That was
What?
unbelievable. OJ.
Oh, I remember
The-
that.
the
I remember
search
watching when they read the verdict. And I was in
No, we watched The Chase.
The Chase, I remember
oh yeah,
that
the
for
Bronco
sure.
chase.
Yeah,
Every
that
time I
was
see a Bronco, I
riveting.
think of OJ.
I was
I remember
upset.
watching the verdict in a a convenience store.
That was when
I was getting a candy bar.
Baywatch was on. I remember they cut off Baywatch.
They cut off Baywatch for the verdict?
I was
How upset were you?
fucking really upset. I was like, I don't know what, because it always just a white chase. Yeah,
Why?
Baywatch. I mean, at that point, I'm like,
Yeah.
obviously fucking Pamela Anderson.
Of course you
Yeah,
do. You were getting ready to snap one off.
Of course. You know, I got fucking OJ and White Bronco.
Right. What's up, Steve? How you doing, buddy?
It's not like I could just say, flip the channel.
Yeah.
My
Well, there was no
computer
flipping
had,
channels.
4K modem.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
it
that's
was
weird that you
cable was
mentioned
very-
OJ, because I have a distinct memory. I went to
Yeah,
this like
Bubba
convenience
mentioned that.
store,
Yeah.
and there was this guy, the guy that owned it named Sam, and he was this Chaldean man from Michigan, and we're both just like sitting there. I'm eating the candy bar, he's watching it, you know.
Yeah.
This is in the same strip mall as my mom's dance studio, so I would go there all the time. Ugh. Good times. OJ's daughter lives in St. Pete.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Sydney.
Permagram said Y2K Powder Day in Colorado for me. That's awesome, Permagram.
If love don't fit, you must have quit. Is that, what was his name? Conrad? Cochran. Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran.
Cochran. I mean. Oh yeah, R. Bud Dwyer. Jesus Christ. What year was that? When he fucking blasted himself off? The 80s?
What up, Nick? Waco was a big
All day, every day.
I'm an FT. Full tractor effect.
You're my savior.
I listen to it in the morning and at night. It keeps me awake all night driving that big rig down the road.
Bubba the Love Sponge. We love you, brother.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Today's after show is a podcast only. It'll be Clem and Kush. Just me and Kushner hanging out for about an hour or so. Available anywhere you get your podcasting stuff. Spotify, Google Play, iHeart, iTunes, Apple, or Bubba Army HQ. And Lummy, I think that we just added a portion of the 2008 Cox morning shows to Bubba Army HQ.
Yes,
and we're working on getting more. We're working on getting all of them.
Yes.
And we will probably in the next... Well, I think we may slow release them. I don't know. I don't know how we're doing it, but we're working on getting all of that as more building and finding and building and getting access for you to have various archives throughout my career.
We also found
kind of the Netflix of Bubba is Bubba Army HQ. You found what now?
Oh, I was going to say, the good thing with Bubba Army HQ is we find more stuff here from old school, so we'll always be updating Bubba Army HQ.
I mean, from Joe the Supermarket tape collection.
To even some of your old air checks.
Now, did we ever find that big box of cassette tapes?
Yes.
We did?
Yep.
For real?
Yep.
You could show me right now?
Yes.
Also, did you know that the Merch Crick got a hold of the safe company and we're going to be able to open that black safe?
Oh, awesome.
Which I have no idea what's like. I know there's not like a bunch of money in there or nothing, but it's hard telling them. I have like some guns in there or something. It's hard telling what's in there. I haven't opened that safe in 10 years. Be like Al Capone's vault would. Maybe we bring Geraldo Rivera down here. It's maybe there's some sex tapes or something in there. I might have to have my attorney, all my attorneys gathered around while we open it, because we might have to start doing some legal wrangling on some procedural evidence that we find. It's hard telling what we find in it. Jay, if we do find something that's kind of like, maybe lawyery, I might have to have you down here, to give us some type of advice.
Of course.
If I find the third Hogan sex tape, we might want to release it. It's done wonders for those that were, right? I mean, Jay, wouldn't you think if I found another Hogan sex tape that I should release it, because those that release it always get rewarded, don't they?
Well, I cannot give a legal opinion on that, but I would say yes.
I mean, you can't give a legal opinion, but if you're just a guy off the streets, if you're just a guy off the streets, you'd be like, hey, we got this Hogan sex tape. Should we publish it? Because, history will show that nothing's going to happen to us.
It's still mind-blowing to me that went down the way it went
History
down.
will show that I'm going to be able to get the job, get a big-time morning job. And history will show that iHeart's going to hire me as an entertainer. Spice Boy works for iHeart, and Calto works for Cox. Bubba got fired.
Yeah, before any of this two-tiered Trump justice system came around, you knew about it for a couple of decades.
Please.
And you were on the wrong side of the power struggle every single time, and it took a jury of your peers 4 times and your ability to speak like a normal person to crush it every single time.
The only reason why I'm a free man,
do it.
only reason why I'm a free man is because a jury of my peers, people in my community, they judge me for me, and they judge me based on the facts are presented to them, and they're fair. And the judicial system works.
Against you.
But the judicial system won't work when the bad guys that I beat every time won't prosecute people that have done me dirty. I make a horrible victim. I don't have the same civil liberties.
I'm sick of hearing that one, aren't you? And then you know what? Let me rephrase that. I'm sick of saying that to you. I'm tired of saying it to you. I've been saying that to you for 2 decades. You don't make a good victim. You don't make a good victim. You know what? You're a victim. You've been a victim for a long time, and you're a human being. You make a good victim.
No, I'm a great victim.
Jay.
I'm a great victim.
It's just times have changed, like we've talked about before. When that came out, it was so salacious. Now people be like, who cares? You let someone sleep with his wife, consensual sex? Who gives a crap? It's not that big of a deal.
And his home surveillance system captivated it.
And then
he took it to work, which he shouldn't have. And then somebody stole it, distributed it, made money on it, got him fired, basically got him canceled.
Now they'd be like, who stole it? Well, back then it was like they did what? They taped what? Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
And then the story is, everybody thinks I did it.
And that's
Bubba taped it and distributed it and shopped it and did his friend dirty
with no evidence of it, and your motive being why, to ruin your career. It's like the dumbest. That is the dumbest argument I've ever heard anyone make. Is the argument that you were involved in it because of what upside? Where was that part?
But again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but what's more mind-boggling is the fact that the feds had a sting. They arrested people that did it. This would be interesting statistic. How many times did the feds do a wired up big time hotel other room agent standing by, a full on sting operation, bust the door down, put people on their stomachs on the ground, hands behind the back, handcuff them, take them into the shop, and then not file charges? Like, how often does that happen? Probably never. Because the FBI is always like, man, when we do a sting, bitch, it's because we're 99 and like we're 99% gonna, like we don't do stings just to do stings because stings cost a lot of money.
They, in my experience, the federal government only prosecutes when they have like rock solid cases. That's when they start doing stings and stuff like that. Otherwise, they're not interested.
Right.
They wouldn't even get you can't get a probable cause surveillance for something unless there's probable cause. So clearly they got a court of competent jurisdiction to give them the authority to do these types of things, which are intrusive because they violate people's civil rights. But when you're the suspect of a criminal investigation, your civil rights are thrown out the door. And so it's unbelievable, Bubba, because like you said, no, who in the world has ever been thrown on their belly and not gone to jail like that?
No.
Well, another day of freezing weather, another day.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, who else has been thrown on their belly during an FBI sting and never had charges? How many people have been thrown on your belly, handcuffed by the FBI as part of a surveillance sting operation, and they never press charges on you?
With an admission on video.
Yeah, with an admission on video. That'd be an interesting statistic.
Well, another day of freezing weather, another day migrants are spending out in the cold.
And it's not just at the reticketing.
Well, I got to tell you, she is all.
That's what I
Honestly,
said.
both of them.
Well,
that's a good-looking news couple right
I
there.
sent you on Instagram, Bubba.
Look at him all squared shouldered, squared
He looks
jaws.
like
Is she like Lebanese? What's her name?
He looks like an in-shape Jeff Girigante, does he not? He looks like Jeff Girigante, an in-shape cold plunge Jeff Girigante.
He does.
In the East Village, Fox 5's Jessica Formosa
India.
shows us where else
Oh,
they're
India.
really
Who is her?
Who is her?
I sent you her
New York
Instagram.
City, but the Arctic temperatures not keeping migrants from standing on long lines for hours. Some even spending the night, all to receive shelter and services.
I've been here 8 o'clock last night, and I sleep there until this hour of the day. Hace mucho frío.
Mucho frío.
It's really cold,
Sorry.
said Catherine, who showed up at 4 a.m. with her 4-year-old son.
Hay mucha gente.
No, these are immigrants.
These are
Migrants.
illegal immigrants.
Okay, illegal immigrants that crossed the border and then told
They were shipped off to NYC.
and then they told the authorities at the border because they ask where you want to go.
Correct.
And she's a big Biggie fan, so
they're like,
you're going
yeah,
to Brooklyn, bitch.
I'm going to Brooklyn, Brooklyn Nets.
A lot of people and only 200 spots a day.
Now she's in New York. 2 days ago, she was in Browntown, Texas.
Yeah, they don't have winter in Venezuela, so she's very confused
you need
right
the
now.
ID, so I have to get up early to get a spot. The Ecuadorian mother
Look,
trying
close
to
enough.
keep
It's
her son
inhumane,
warm.
but they should never have been brought
Correct.
there. It's absolutely terrible to see these people suffering like that, but they're illegal immigrants who cross the border illegally, and then this federal government, Joe Biden's federal government, decided it would be a good idea to give them a processing paper, which may be done by, what are they at now? Let me 2030? 2028 by the time you get your hearing
I
date?
think it's 2032.
It's
Oh, my
unbelievable, the
God.
hearing date. And they're saying on an honor system, please let us know where you are in 2032. And so this is inhumane. The people that should be suffering the political consequences are the Democrat Party for allowing this to happen. It's a travesty.
If you look at all the polling and everything, and what Americans' number one, no matter what, whether it's Republican, Democrat, male, female, I've watched enough news stories now that the number one problem Americans are concerned about is immigration.
Yep, even in New Hampshire and Iowa. That's what was mind-blowing.
They send most
So
of them to the Midwest. They send most of them to the
CNN and
Midwest.
MSNBC can't get over the fact that immigration's made it that far.
Yeah.
Rubbing his feet as she waits to
This is
get
terrible. I mean, it's
inside
terrible.
this
Yeah,
city
it's
office
awful.
in Brooklyn to obtain an ID NYC card.
No tener dinero.
To not
What?
have any money, no job, it's complicated. And so you end up on the street. And one can wait for hours out here just to get inside and be told to come back.
I need ID or a passport
What?
with a photograph. And I didn't come in here with no passport.
But there is a misconception.
That's what we're letting in.
What?
So she just admitted to coming here illegally.
Yeah.
That's an admission of fault.
She told you what she
admission of
needed.
guilt.
She told you what she needed. She told you what she didn't
but
have.
the government greenlit it and
I
said
know.
And she told you what she did.
I'm just saying that's the state of our country right now.
So they're waiting in line, Bubba, for those
will
IDs.
automatically
They're
lead to
getting
a job.
They're
In
getting
order
one.
to work legally, one must be granted a federal work authorization, which is a long legal process. Migrant advocates worry that misinformation.
Here is. This is now look at this. This is the Roosevelt Hotel. This is in a very prestigious part of Manhattan, and look. It's just, are these all homeless? What's
no,
all
that's
this?
the scooters that the immigrants or illegal immigrants are allowed to ride around
without license plates.
Okay.
Yeah.
And coupled with the desperation we see out here is the reason these migrants are willing to risk their own health in the bitter cold. The city says it's.
Could we roll up there with a pickup truck and say, hey, free tents with space heaters? I just need 8 hours of hard work for you.
Well, probably could get some.
Under a code blue, with these dangerous temperatures and more snow on the way, no one should be sleeping on the street.
Nobody. Now, mind you, there are millions and millions of Americans that were born in this country, that are citizens of this country, that are homeless, and that we've forgot about, and we've thrown to the side. The homeless people and the mentally deranged people and the veterans who have just been tossed aside, and the homeless community is not just a few illegal migrants that migrated to Brooklyn, but I mean, look at the homeless people. There's homeless people in every major U.S. city that we don't quite frankly care about. We don't have a get back on your feet homeless program. We're not handing the homeless stimulus checks and or passes to do anything. The homeless are our people. Those are our people.
Our citizens.
Yes.
Our forgotten citizens who don't get mental health care. They don't get proper health care. They don't get the proper benefits that everyone else gets. And instead what they're doing is creating an environment where they can just openly use heroin and drugs, poop out in the market, poop out in and just become less than human. And somehow that's done with the interest of that's in the homeless' best interest because they deserve to live
We
in
need
the
to
streets.
lock down our borders and start taking care of our citizens.
Yes. The total amount of people that voted in the Iowa caucus, that's 3 days of what's coming across the border in the southern border.
I have a question.
3
Who
months,
are they trying to
3
pin
months.
as the bad guy here? Like, it was the Democratic government that let them in.
Right.
And now are they mad at the Democratic government that's making them wait outside to get papers? I don't understand who they're mad at.
I think they're mad at everybody.
Okay.
They really are. They're mad at the whole situation.
Democrats are trying to blame the Republicans for not doing comprehensive immigration reform, and the Republicans are saying we didn't change anything. You just changed it. You didn't enforce the old policies, and so it's just a big whodunit.
Because it sounds like they're trying to say that the Democratic Party or whoever let them in isn't doing enough. Like they need more. They need more housing, more food, more resources.
They are.
It's ridiculous.
Hold on.
So we will, of course, do that for our migrant brothers and sisters also.
But we continue to see migrants sleeping on the streets of New York City. Just yesterday here at St. Bridget's, we saw a couple show up after hours. They had nowhere to go. There was a sign on the door with
if you're going to let them in, you better have a plan for them. And if you're going to ship them to New York, you better have some housing for them. You better have a plan other than just shipping them and letting them on the streets on New York. Like, for real.
She's already very stressed.
How about closing the borders down a little bit, letting things calm down till it gets a little warmer, and then, have some type of system in place where we interview you at the border and issue your papers that you need to work here and right there on the spot.
Well, just think,
like Ronald Reagan said, you know what? There's a way to fix that, and that is stop them at the border, interview them, then issue them Social Security cards so they pay into the system from the day they get into the country, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at the last administration, the last month of the last administration, illegal immigration was less than 20,000 total in the entire country. Last month, it was over 320,000 people.
The last month?
Yes,
Wow.
most record month. And so now we're talking about 1 million people every 3 months or so.
Addressed to a warming center in the Bronx. The problem, they had no money to get there. In the East Village, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox.
Let me see Jessica Formoso's Instagram. Lummy, is this her Insta?
Oh, that's the first
The
lady.
Indian lady.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that was on
Natasha
TV?
Verma.
Yeah. She
looks.
Let me see her.
She looks good.
Oh,
Very
wow.
pretty.
She looks like Salma Hayek.
Yeah. She's pretty hot.
Yeah.
That's why she's in New York, probably making
That's
a
why
mill.
she's on TV.
Listen to this.
I get this
This
one.
is-
I got the kid that's
this is-
involved in it.
Hold on.
What?
Your kid is involved in a situation like this where
Well, right
The
now,
Stanley
like,
Cup?
the importance of a Stanley being an absolute nothing, and how my 11-year-old and 12-year-old girl think that it's so important, and everyone has to have a Stanley Cup. Yeah, I get it.
All right, hold on.
She's not bullying kids because they don't have them, but
Let's explain to everybody what we're talking about. We're not talking about the Stanley Cup with regards to the award.
The only Stanley Cup that matters.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're not talking about the Lord Stanley Cup, where the champion of the NHL league gets the trophy, which is called the Stanley Cup, much like the NFL's version of the Vince
Right.
Lombardi Trophy and so forth and so on.
No.
What are the Stanley Cups, Jay?
So in today's day, when you have young children, they have to have some sort of a reusable water can.
Why?
And so in elementary
And grown
school,
women.
and
Bubba,
so
I have one.
at school, it was
How about just a bottle of water?
Tervis tumbler, or it was a Yeti, or it was something like that. And then all of a sudden, these Stanleys came out last year. These are the ones that have a handle.
You haven't seen
A
them?
handle and
No,
a
I've
straw.
not seen them. Can you send me an example of a
It's a 40
Stanley?
ounce.
It has to have a handle, a straw. It's too big. It's top heavy. If it tips over, it spills.
straw.
But the kids love it, and
So do
so I
It's
think
not just
I
kids,
must
it's
have.
adult women, too.
Nick, the gun guy, gave me a Taylor Swift one for my daughter, which she's now like pimping around school.
Hold on.
That's it.
This one here is $1,700.
What?
That's like you
Usually
can't
they're
get it.
$45.
Yeah, 25 to 45.
And is that all that's
it.
all they are right here?
That's it.
This is it.
That's it.
And if your kid isn't carrying this around at school, then he's stupid.
No, they're going to get teased.
They're going to get teased. So what if you just have a bottle of water?
I think it's if you have like a knockoff, that's where you get teased.
You mean like if you have a Tervis tumbler or something?
Yeah, or just like another
If you have
kind of.
Why do you even need a tumbler? Like
A
why?
Tanley?
So Jay, why are you what
It's an image thing.
What excuses are your kids telling you as to why they need a tumbler?
Well, it's been kind of a cultural thing, I think, in schools since our kids were pre-K. You give them a bottle so that they can have water, and there's not like a lot of water fountains around. And I think it's just instead of using a plastic, single-use bottle, I think it's crap. I don't know why. They have water fountains. Use a water fountain.
Right.
But my kids have been carrying these since the very, very beginning.
So your kids have been on the cool
Trey
side of
doesn't
the
really
deal.
care. He's got one. He's got the same, I think.
Here we go.
This is the cup
Yeti
that we
for
got our
10
daughter for
years.
Christmas.
So this bitch here, her kid's getting made fun of at school, and she makes a video of it, and she kind of explains what these stupid ass Stanley Cups.
This is the cup that we got our daughter for
I'm glad.
Well, it's a knockoff, clearly.
I
Get a
wish
better
my son.
knockoff.
I wish my son talked to me, and we had a relationship. He's a grown man now. He's 22, going to be 23 years old in June. And we haven't talked in 2 years. That in itself is killing me. But
get him a Stanley.
Get him a
Thank
Stanley.
God I'm not dealing with this nonsense.
That'll mend relationships.
This is not a.
Hey Dad, I need a mug. It's called a Stanley. It's $45 on Amazon. It'll get shipped right here.
What do you do with it?
I carry it around school. I don't even put really any liquids in it, but I carry it around and I'm part of the cool club. If not, Dad, they're gonna make fun of me.
Stanley. This is a $9.98 Walmart cup that she said she thought was cute. She is 9 years old. On the second day back to school after Christmas break, she comes home. All the other girls in her grade, I'm not saying all, maybe she said 9, 10 of them, all got Stanleys for Christmas. And they made sure to let her know that this is not a real Stanley, that this is fake and it's not as cool.
Well, your kid's soft.
It's called bullying.
Your kid's soft. Your kid's soft, and you're soft for letting your kids be soft.
She comes home, she's upset. She asks if she can have a real Stanley. If you're a mom, if you're a parent, and you can do something to keep your child from getting made fun of, to help fit in, you're gonna do it. So we went and bought her a 30-ounce Stanley. But this doesn't start with the kids. This starts with us. This starts with parents, with moms.
Right, you succumbed to it.
Yep.
You did. You succumbed to the bullying of your child's kids at school.
What are we teaching our kids?
You're teaching your kids that you can't tell them, go to school with no Stanley tomorrow and tell them to shove it up their ass. Nope, you just laid down and bought the Stanley now, didn't you? Because it's it's the path of least resistance. We don't want to be real parents and make any hard decisions.
So that's what I did, and then they just appeared in my cabinet.
Yeah.
The candle was
9-year-old daughter
softer on that one.
Right, of course she was.
Came home, and somehow we found out that she made fun of another girl at school for not having something name brand. We would be making her write a note to apologize. We would make her apologize in person, because that's not what we do in this household. And that's what we need to be teaching our kids.
Yep. We need to teach our kids to be soft and a bunch of impressionable pussies. And to allow, listen, if somebody's bullying you, punch them in the mouth. Yeah. They'll stop bullying you. That's
if they make fun of you for not having a certain
There
kind
was
of
like,
top.
when I was growing up, you had to have Jordans or like the cool shoes, and you'd get made fun of. I went to my parents. My parents were like,
"Yeah, you
no,
get made fun.
Save your money. Save your money. Save your money and go buy your shoes."
Good point.
We've made. Hold on, Rhett's right. We've all been made fun of all of our lives.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm just
and
saying
we
you
were
don't
told to
throw
deal with it.
punches
Yeah,
just
we
because
did.
you were made fun of.
Well, none of us had anything growing up. All of us. And
There
so
were,
I got teased incessantly for not having the cool shoes and having beat. My dad thought it was cool to give me a pair of sneaks in August and have them last until June.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I used to wear Wranglers. Go to Kmart and get Wranglers.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you
No, we go to
The
Sears and get the
corduroys that rubbed.
Huskies. We
Yeah,
get
the
the Huskies.
That rubbed together. The corduroy was so
big.
thick. that your
Sears was
legs-
too expensive for us. We had to go to Kmart.
Did you beat anybody up that made fun of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
We did have a kid in middle school. We used to call him Shaq because he would wear Shaq shoes instead of Jordans.
Yeah,
So you're a bully.
Anna, not only did we beat people up, but we also got beat up.
Yep.
No doubt.
Yeah, I think girls
my
are a little bit
brothers.
different.
I remember one time Tyler's
never threw hands 'cause
Tyler's
someone made
literally
fun of
in
me for not having a
Tyler's
cup.
in 3rd grade, and there's one kid that literally like every day pushes Tyler down.
Okay, well that's different.
And so I'm like, listen, Tyler. So I took him to my gym and I showed him how to just do straight jabs. Just jab, 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 jab. And I said, tomorrow when that kid comes up and he pushes you down the ground or attempts to push you down the ground, tell him, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't push me and don't screw with me or I'm going to hit you in the face. And the kid laughed because Tyler has never hit him in the face prior. And the kid attempted to push him down, and Tyler laid one right down the middle. Bam! Smashed his face. Kid went down. Tyler hurt his hand.
Bullying over.
Yeah, he hurt his hand. It cut his hand open a little bit. He got sent to the office, and I got called into the office, and they're like, Tyler's gonna have to be suspended for a day or two for hitting a kid. And I'm like, well, do we know which kid he hit? Yeah, he hit, Johnny McGillicuddy. Are you familiar that Johnny McGillicuddy's been pushing him down for the last 2 weeks and my son probably finally stood his ground? Yeah, that's what the teacher saw, but nonetheless, your kid did throw the first punch. What do you mean he threw the first? How about the 10 times he'd been knocked down prior? Nope, we didn't see that, but we did see your kid lay one right down the middle. So I told I rewarded Tyler.
There you go.
I took him to McDonald's. I took him the day he was suspended. We went out go-karting. Like, we had a good old day. I'm like, and guess what?
Bully didn't
That
bully
kid
anymore.
never screwed with Tyler again. Ever again. We couldn't do that in today's environment. Oh, my God. Can you imagine if Trace lit a kid up right now, gave him a big, can you imagine if somebody was messing with Trey and Trey bloodied his nose after after he'd given the kid forewarning? Oh my God!
We did that. We had the exact Bubba. I think a lot of fathers have that discussion with their children, and I had the exact same thing happen with Trey, and he did it in front of the PE coach, and the PE coach said, "Good one, Trey. He deserved it." And so that was the difference of where
Tyler
he
got turned in by some first grade teacher bitch.
The kid didn't like being photographed, so Trey was behind him with his iPad, photographing him, and the kid pushed the iPad and hit Trey in the face.
Oh yeah, I can't do
And
that.
so it gave him a little bit of a lip thing he came home with, and I'm like, what happened? And I had the exact same conversation with him that he had that Bubba had with Tyler, and about a week later. The kid put his hand, said, if he ever puts his hands on you again, you retaliate. You defend yourself. And so the kid grabbed him by the arm, and Trey turned around and smacked him right in the face, open-handed.
Perfect
right
bitch.
in front, right,
Open-handed.
open-handed,
A
right,
slap.
a smack, like he bitch slapped him.
Nice.
In front of the PE coach and all the
It's
other
even more
kids.
demoralizing.
And that was the end of that bullying. It happened for 2
But
years.
you can't do that anymore, man.
2 years.
We're all soft. We're all pussies. We're supposed to talk it out.
Yeah.
Did you see this mom? She was in the Air Force, and she was like super cool and
hot, big
Yeah.
jugs.
hot, and she ends up killing herself.
It's tragic.
Wow. I'll talk about that next.
Was that radio plutonium or what?
What, you think I like avoiding my wife and kids to hang out with 19-year-old girls all day?
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
But like it's different. Like with Sage, it was to get her to defend herself. It was just verbally defend herself.
Yeah.
And she didn't even want to do that.
How do you tell her to do that?
Think ahead of the people who bother you, and think ahead of something that may bother them. And so rather than being there, put on the spot, and not having something ready to say, think about it. There's always something.
Yeah.
And so I know you don't like to do it. You've tried to ignore them.
Like
Ignore
attack
it.
stuff that they're vulnerable about.
Yeah. And I said, don't get too personal. Don't get personal about appearances or anything. But there's always
Why?
something.
That's the best way to do it.
Because I don't like to make fun of a short guy that's short and a
So
bald guy
then,
that's
what
tall.
would you tell her to do? Like attack their character or what?
I don't quite say it like that, Anna.
Well, how do you make fun of someone? How do you verbally?
You'll figure it out one day if you ever birthed a child.
I'm just asking what you did, Jay.
She is nosy, Bubba.
Oh, I know she is.
And then you're relentless too. You don't stop once they don't want to answer a question. You just keep going.
Right. Just
I'm
tell
not
me
thinking
that
of
you're
that.
not.
I'm just thinking about it in the bathroom. Like, man, you really do ask lots of really good.
I won't ask. I apologize. I didn't
No,
realize.
no,
it was
no,
sensitive.
wait, funny. I'm trying to be like, I'm not trying to upset. It's like a fun. It's more of a funny thing to me. Like,
No,
it's just you
it's
really have a desire to understand things, and you go just. Your
Well, you were
questions are
being very vague about it, so I was just asking.
right, and that's what's funny about it. It's not like doesn't upset me by any means. I enjoy our
She's
conversations.
nonstop. You don't even understand.
Sometimes I forget that we're on the air when I say it, and I feel like I'm divulging too much.
She's nosy. She's nosy, lover.
Huh?
She's nosy.
How do she's? I don't. I'm trying to be anything. I was gonna say I feel like I'm on the couch and they say she's all. I mean, not at all. I didn't mean to hit a nerve. I apologize.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
It is.
I'm here for the sponge.
Mate, it's all about mate.
It's got to be Bubba.
I laugh so hard.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Seth and Kush will be the podcast of the day. Available wherever you get your podcasting. Should be up by 2 or so.
Clement Kush.
Clement Kush. What did I say?
Seth and Kush.
Yeah, whatever. Distracted right now looking at something. I don't know that I'm going to have time to get into this hot army lady kills herself. So tragic.
Yeah.
There was no signs of this at all. Although I think her younger brother had killed himself.
Yeah.
She has a child, a 12-year-old daughter, I think.
Yep.
She's Instagram famous. I think she has a few 100,000 followers on Instagram. There's a picture of her.
Oh, wow.
There's she was in the military, or I don't know if she was active or former. But that's her in her military garb. That's her as probably part of her social media yippee-o. And then there's various, I think it's a picture of her and her daughter. And she was just all, for lack of a better term, all buttoned up. Seemed like she had a normal life. And she killed herself. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, too. It didn't look like there were any really overt signs.
Yeah, just right out of the blue. Maybe we'll get into this tomorrow. Maybe we won't, Lummy. But I got to go. We're running a little bit late.
Yeah.
Jay, appreciate you, my friend.
I'll see you Friday.
Go get Clement Kush later today, wherever you get your podcasting stuff. Maybe Bubba Army HQ would be a good spot. Also, Lummy, Bubba Army Store, Bubba Army Shop, and Bubba Army Shop, Store, and merch. BubbaArmyMerch.com, all available with the new Bubba Army black and red backpacks. And I've been told that we're down to 25% left. Oh. So there you go. Jay, appreciate you, bud. See you on Friday.
Yes, sir.
See everybody else tomorrow. Kush and I will do a podcast here. Clement Kush, we'll have it up by 2 o'clock. See you later.
Thanks for letting me finish.
You've been listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, starring
me, Bubba the Love Sponge.
Co-host and show historian, Lummix.
Co-host, Anna Hummel.
Co-host, Dr. Dan Diaco, Esquire, of Council. Co-host, J. Diaco, Esquire, the Spitting Cobra, of Council.
Brett, the Filthy Ginger, video editor.
Yeah, back here wiring up. It's Mini Macho.
The BRN agent, Thomas Buttoned Up B.
And for everything else, go to thebubbaarmy.com.
Now, time for the legal disclaimer.
Exactly.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this show without express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
We must dissuade him of this delusion.
Until next time, always remember.
I'll repeat hello. I'm back.